This is a snake-type jade beast with 100% loyalty. Its exorbitant price taunts everyone. Yet people would pawn everything to contract it. Only you dismiss such spirit beasts with disdain. Instead, you spend a mere 5,000 to buy a turtle-type jade beast with only 1% loyalty. Even though the moment it laid eyes on you, it wanted to swallow you whole. You didn't hesitate to contract it as your first beast companion. All because you awakened the ancestral return calamity system, which allows beasts with bloodline purity over 1% to revert into extinct ancient calamity beasts. At the same time, the contracted loyalty and compatibility are both 100%. Now you take out a low-tier contract talisman, ready to forcibly contract the jade green spirit turtle before you. Unexpectedly, the spirit turtle resists fiercely, utterly refusing to acknowledge a poor brat like you as its master. After half an hour of mental suppression, the contract talisman successfully imprints onto the spirit turtle's head. Congratulations, host, on successfully contracting the beast. Ancestral return has been activated. Longevity pavilion has been activated. Fairy tale has been activated. Ancient realm training ground has been activated. Initial gift, ancestral return leaf one piece. It can transform the transcendent 1-star jade pattern spirit turtle into a transcendent 2-star blood pattern barbarian turtle. You clearly remember the evolved spirit turtle, should be the jade spirit turtle. What the hell is this blood pattern barbarian turtle? Did the system report an error? Then you pull out the beast guide issued by the school, planning to first check the jade spirit turtle's stats. Jade spirit turtle, transcendent 2-star, strength 50, speed 5, endurance 50, spirit 30, evaluation, slow movement and reaction speed, average strength, docile temperament, loyal and obedient to its master. Evolution cap, transcendent 3-star jade spirit turtle. Then you open the system again to check the ancestral return evolution of the blood pattern barbarian turtle. Blood pattern barbarian turtle, transcendent 2-star, strength 180, speed 60, endurance 150, spirit 80, possesses extremely powerful strength and bite force, astonishingly fast movement and reaction speed, immense vitality and endurance, and a certain self-healing ability. Innate skill, blood burn. The blood pattern barbarian turtle's blood ignites, boosting strength, speed, and defense threefold. Seeing this, you're utterly stunned. Can the blood pattern barbarian turtle even be considered a turtle? It feels like even tiger-type beasts aren't this strong. Without a moment's hesitation, you directly apply the ancestral return leaf to the jade pattern spirit turtle. The spirit turtle in the cage grows a size larger, and its shell color turns deep red. While you wait for its ancestral return, the school's class group chat erupts. Someone sighs. Wangxian from class 2 spent $1 million on a top-grade spirit snake, then another $1 million on purification liquid to purify a transcendent 2-star jade spirit snake. My god, a top-tier find. That $2 million was well spent. He's guaranteed top 10 in the entrance exam, 100% sure to enter a high-level beast academy. But Liu Xiao from our class is even stronger. He evolved a transcendent 2-star crimson flame spirit fox, strength 110 enough to crush a truck. What kind of monsters are these? Can we transcendent 1-star folks even stand a chance in the entrance exam? Watching their chatter, you smile calmly. Wang Kao's jade spirit snake has strength 90. Liu Yanru's crimson flame spirit fox has strength 110. Neither matches your blood pattern barbarian turtle. With this ancestral return system, your spirit beasts can all revert into calamity beasts, far beyond these docile little pets that others have. Forget whether you'll become the strongest beast tamer. At least you can get into a high-level academy. Suddenly, another message pops up in the class group. My cousin works in the enforcement bureau. They just busted a batch of illegal merchants selling discarded beasts. They seized a buy list. Guess who's on it? Everyone is now intensely curious. Who's the reckless madman? After all, such beasts have extremely low loyalty, completely beyond safe prediction. At best, you get injured and waste a contract talisman. At worst, you die on the spot. It's not worth the gain. Then, that classmate posted the list and photos in the group. Pre-sale No. Dapuan High School, Class 3, Year 3, Tincheng, on May 12th. Spent 5,000 yuan to purchase a 1% will control fragrance sensing spirit turtle. The group instantly fell silent, and you felt a chill run down your spine. How did the buy list get leaked? At that moment, classmates in the group frantically at D. Tincheng. Is he already dead? Tincheng's family has no money, but he still wants to become a pre-sale master. He has to take desperate risks. Wasn't this guy awakened with all-element pre-sale? What a waste of such good talent. You sneered at the barrage of mockery flooding the group. Keep laughing. At the entrance exams, you'll all see who the real loser is. Soon, another person spoke in the group. Good thing I broke up with him. Otherwise, I'd have been taken advantage of by that bastard. The speaker was your ex-girlfriend, Liu Ruyan. She had cheated on you with Liu Yanri, the young master of the Jincheng Liu family. Then she kicked you to the curb. Before we broke up, that lecher tried to take advantage of me. He wanted to get a room with me, but I refused. The group erupted in laughter. At this point, you were fuming. To curry favor with Liu Yanrui, she was spreading lies in the group. Back then, Liu Ruin's grades were so poor she was almost expelled. If it weren't for you being a top student and helping her cram like crazy, she might not have even made it to graduation. You had never once suggested getting a room with her. On the contrary, she repeatedly offered to repay you by getting a room, and you refused every time. Now she dumps you and latches onto Liu Yanrui. He even spent millions on her, purchasing a 2-star Transcendent Light and Dawn chick. Liu Ruin instantly became a second-tier pre-sale master. Everyone in the group knew the situation, but no one mocked Liu Ruin for selling her body. They just thought she was incredibly resourceful. A total winner in life. Thinking about this, you felt a surge of anger. You started typing in the group, Liu Ruin, you can spread rumors now, but don't let me run into you at the entrance exams. Everyone saw the main character suddenly appear, and even dared to openly provoke a second-tier pre-sale master. The group burst into laughter. Tinsheng, what can you use to challenge Liu Ruin? Just that beast of yours, the fragrance-sensing spirit turtle. Isn't that a 5,000 yuan scrap? What does it even look like? Why not post a picture in the group so we can all see? At that moment, Liu Ruin also threw down the gauntlet, and waiting. I'll let my Light and Dawn chick devour your fragrance-sensing spirit turtle, and make you a complete cripple who can't get back up. You were about to type a retort, when a system notification suddenly chimed. Transcendent 2-star Bloodstrike Savage Turtle Fusion complete. You immediately put down your phone and looked at the iron cage. The iron cage was now completely burst open. The Bloodstrike Savage Turtle's body had grown several sizes. Its back was covered in rough, jagged spikes. Its eyes blazed with a wild, primal light. You realized the Savage Turtle was now much stronger, but also much calmer. You tried giving it commands, whether to stretch its head or wag its tail. It obeyed instantly without fail. It seemed the Savage Turtle now followed orders 100%. This was the system's additional talent. Even a beast with savage bloodlines had no choice but to submit. You quickly covered your mouth. Ever since the savage beast genes went extinct, they had become an absolute taboo for humanity. There was even a rule: if any savage beast was found, it must be eliminated immediately to prevent future trouble. So this system of yours had to be kept absolutely secret. You then continued to check the system's functions, but found the ancient realm training ground was grayed out, and its activation cost was 10,000 yuan per use. After clicking on it, you understood. It was a place for practical pre-sale combat training. In reality, pre-sale training grounds were very expensive. Using one cost over 100,000. Compared to that, 10,000 yuan was really not expensive. After all, the ancient realm's practical training was very useful. It was one of the 3 assessments in the entrance exams. The first assessment was beast qualifications and compatibility. The second was the beast's level. The third was actual combat, also the most brutal assessment. In previous years, many beasts died during the exam, and there were 2 ways to gain practical combat experience. One option is to enter a true forbidden zone for real combat, but that is far too dangerous and near certain death. The second option is to go to an artificial, commercial real combat training ground. It can also allow a pre-sale master to gain ample real combat training. However, with the big exam approaching, during this period, wealthy students have already booked all the training grounds. So you must first find a way to earn 10,000 yuan to unlock the ancient training ground, improving your real combat skills. Then you head to the Jincheng Guild, preparing to do some basic work for pay, such as retail sales or taming tasks. But after searching for a while, you only see tasks for real combat training instructors. Usually, such requests come from students facing the big exam, who want a good ranking, but can't afford the commercial training grounds, so they hire a real combat instructor to come to them. You quickly pick one with the highest price. This task seems perfect for you. You then tear down the task notice. Next, you go to the registration area. You're greeted by a woman in her early 20s, but when she sees the task, her expression turns strange. Are you sure about this? Your opponent is a pre-sale master of the same rank as you. Without an overwhelming advantage, you can't guarantee your own safety in retail. You nod firmly. I've made up my mind. The receptionist hesitates for a moment, but remembers this task has been posted for a while with no suitable candidate. The client is getting anxious, and they're of high status. She can't afford to offend them. With that thought, she stamps her approval. Then you leave the guild and head to the task location. She watches you leave and sighs. This is the 13th person to take this task. I hope he returns safely. When you arrive at the task location, you're shocked by the luxurious manner. The client is from a wealthy family. You quickly put on a black robe to hide your identity, since they are likely a student from first high. Then a guard leads you into the manor. Suddenly, a smell of blood wafts over. It's the scent of retail blood, and definitely more than just 1 or 2. The guard casually lets slip. You're the 13th to take this task. The previous pre-sale masters all had a rough time. But before he can finish his next sentence, He's pinned to the ground by a faint pressure. A female warrior walks over. The young lady's affairs are none of her servant's business. Her armor clearly costs a fortune, and her kai and blood radiate outward. She's at least a 4th-rank warrior. Then she leads you to the training ground. The smell here is even more pungent. Your heart tightens. On the other side of the training ground, a girl holding a short sword looks over. You instantly recognize her. She's Su King, the school's top beauty and #1 student, also a genius who awakened all attribute Brazil. And her father is a city lord, ruling over 22 large cities with 1 million people. But no one knows why Su King came to a small place like Jingcheng. Someone like her can't have a simple Brazil. With that thought, you turn to leave, but the female guard blocks you. If you take the task, you must fight. You helplessly turn back to face Su King. Can you go easy on me? But Su King flicks her finger, and a bank card flies like a blade, brushing past your cheek, and embedding itself in the doorframe. There's 1 million in this. If your retail dies in the spot, you can take this card. Truly worthy of Princess Su, so generous with your spending. But Su King frowns instantly. Upon hearing you call her that nickname, you know me. You quickly cover your mouth, afraid to speak. Just then, the female guard brings in another person. The next training instructor has arrived. It's Wang Kao from Class 2. Unexpectedly, he also took the task. You voluntarily step aside. Let him go first. Wang Kao shot you a contemptuous glance. He stepped directly onto the training field. Immediately, an emerald forest snake appeared before them. Its azure scales clearly boasted formidable defense. Then Su King summoned her own spirit beast. The spirit beast's face shimmered with light. A graceful fox emerged from it. Its body radiated a strange, 9-colored glow. Both you and Wang Kao's expression shifted. A 9-colored fox, the 33rd rank precious spirit beast on the heavenly balance list. The known 3,600 spirit beasts are divided into 4 rankings. They are the heavenly list, the earthly list, the selection list, and the yellow list. Among all spirit beasts, only the top 100 with the strongest aptitude make the heavenly list. Rank 33 is the cream of the crop. Su King pointed directly at you both. You two, come at me together. But unexpectedly, Wang Kao refused. I don't need anyone's help. I'll fight you fair and square. The female guard pressed a button. The training field began to change. The terrain transformed into dense mountain forest in an instant. Wang Kao was overjoyed at the sight. After all, the jungle was the emerald forest snake's home turf. Under Wang Kao's command, the snake hid within the thicket. Just as the 9-colored fox was searching for it, the emerald forest snake launched a direct attack. The 9-colored fox leaped lightly, dodging the strike. Its 9-colored tails transformed into blade-like projectiles. They shot forth in an instant, sweeping across. In a flash, the emerald forest snake was torn open. Wang Kao quickly ordered his beast to evade, but the snake curled into a ball instead. This was a classic case of extreme distrust. The beast ignored its master's commands, acting solely on its own instincts. Seeing this, Wang Kao hurriedly conceded, but Su King remained utterly unmoved. The 9-colored fox brutally assaulted the emerald forest snake, until it lost consciousness and collapsed. The tail blades hovered at the snake's vital spot. The outcome was decided. Considering you have the entrance exam ahead, I'll spare your beast's life. Su King's cold voice rang out. Wang Kao fell to his knees, utterly defeated. The emerald forest snake couldn't be healed anytime soon. His entrance exam was ruined. Then Su King turned her gaze to you. You formed a hand seal and summoned Snow-Scale Barbarian Turtle. Upon seeing the turtle, Su King first showed surprise, then a hint of disappointment. A beast of this quality is worse than the emerald forest snake. Don't let the guild slack on screening. Don't send me just anything. Wang Kao, seeing the barbarian turtle, began to gloat. Even if you've got a turtle, it won't hold up. It'll end up worse than my snake. Hearing this, you felt a bit annoyed. We'll only know after a real fight. As the barbarian turtle entered the training field, it didn't hide. Instead, it swaggered right in front of the 9-colored fox. The fox's tail blade slashed down. Sparks flew off the turtle's shell. But only a faint white mark was left. You breathed a sigh of relief. The shell's toughness exceeded your expectations. Su King rarely showed a look of surprise. As the 9-colored fox attacked relentlessly, time slowly passed. Watching the clock, you suddenly had an epiphany. You didn't have to do anything, and you'd still earn 10,000 an hour. Let's just stall like this. 2 hours later, the 9-colored fox was completely exhausted. A look of human-like confusion crossed its face. Meanwhile, the barbarian turtle remained inside its shell, as if it had just taken a nap. Su King's face was now pale. The intense battle had drained her mental energy, but her bond with the 9-colored fox was growing. Suddenly, Su King commanded, "Make your beast move. I want a fierce fight." You were happily counting your earnings. You'd already made nearly 30,000. Hearing Su King's words, you were reluctant. The mission didn't say we had her fight. What if I knock out your 9-colored fox? Wouldn't that end the training? Su King laughed in disbelief. Knock it out? With you? Fine. If you defeat my 9-colored fox even once, I'll give you an extra 100,000. Your eyes lit up at these words. Are you serious? Suking was already fired up. She pouted and shouted, I always keep my word. Then let's earn 1 million first. You cheered as if rallying a spirit beast. Suking nearly choked on hearing this. Let's see if your shell is harder than your mouth. The biggest advantage of turtle-type pets is defense. If you dare attack, you'll end up worse than my emerald forest snake. You completely ignored her words. The little darling Wang cow instantly turned red with rage. At that moment, the blood-veined brute turtle crawled out of the arena. Its fierce appearance immediately startled Sukin and the nine-tailed fox. For some reason, your turtle-type pet seemed different from ordinary ones. It looked more like a beast of prey. No need to worry about that. You smiled faintly. The nine-tailed fox immediately darted through the jungle. As it circled behind the brute turtle, the blood-veined brute turtle suddenly moved. It spun around and lashed out with a tearing claw strike, slamming hard toward the nine-tailed fox. Sparks erupted instantly. At the same time, the brute turtle began charging. Its overwhelming momentum quickly caught up to the nine-tailed fox. Sukin and the nine-tailed fox were both stunned. Is this a lightning turtle, or am I still dreaming? Wang Cao's jaw dropped in shock. What kind of speed is that? Sukin quickly warned the nine-tailed fox, but it was too late. When the claw struck the nine-tailed fox, it was sent flying. It crashed through several trees before stopping, but the brute turtle didn't let up its assault. It opened its massive jaws for a savage bite. The nine-tailed fox dodged just in time. The tree trunk behind it, over a meter thick, was instantly crushed. Wang Cao stared in disbelief. That's a turtle? Are you sure it's not a brute tiger in a shell? Its ferocious attacks gave him the illusion of invincibility. The brute turtle continued its pursuit of the nine-tailed fox. Just as it was about to catch up again, Su King immediately commanded the nine-tailed fox to use its innate skill, Enchanted Blade. At the same time, a red glow enveloped the nine-tailed fox's tail blade, a coating of fire element. You quickly realize, the reason the nine-tailed fox ranked on the heavenly list was its ability to enchant with magic. 9 types, including wind, fire, and lightning. When the tail blade struck the brute turtle's shell, it left a scorched mark instantly. Su King breathed a sigh of relief seeing the attack land. The nine-tailed fox's coating carried 30% mental damage. Such pain was unbearable for ordinary pets. They would break free from their trainer's control. As long as it flees the training ground, I win. Most trainers would calm their pet at this point. Though you knew pressuring it wasn't wise, you gritted your teeth and ordered, push forward and tear it apart. The brute turtle charged through the flames toward the spirit fox, ignoring the heat to bite down on the nine-tailed fox. Then it activated its skill, Savage Bite. It pinned the nine-tailed fox to the ground and thrashed it repeatedly. Su King was utterly shocked. Since evolving to Transcendent 2-star, the nine-tailed fox had never been so brutally beaten by a P-level beast. The female referee quickly announced, "Training ends now." Stop. Just as you gave the order, the brute turtle hurled the nine-tailed fox out of the arena. Wang Cao quickly grabbed his bank card and tried to sneak away quietly. Scary as hell. Never seen anything this fierce. Hope Su King doesn't flip out and drag me into this. But you looked at Su King without any hesitation. So, I win, right? Su King nodded and told the female referee to settle the payment. Then she rushed over to check the spirit fox's injuries. Seeing the nine-tailed fox battered and bruised, Su King couldn't hold back her tears. When you received 130,000 in payment, you could hardly believe it. No wonder they said beast trainers make good money. You then prepared to take the money and run. But just as you turned, a voice came from behind. You think you can leave? Your heart skipped a beat. Are you from one beast taming high school, or some substitute teacher? You quickly went along with it. How did you know? That was a lucky guess. After all, in Su Kin's eyes, none of the students have such strength. Su Kin, seeing this, hastily asked, "Will you come again tomorrow?" Hearing this, you breathed a sigh of relief. So he was afraid you wouldn't come tomorrow. You thought he was going to settle scores afterward. Just as you were pondering, looking for it, you were hesitating. This kind of training was a huge boost for him, and it's rare to find such a powerful sparring partner on the same street. I can pay more 20,000 an hour. Cow about 10 hours of actual combat training every day. You were instantly stunned 200,000 a day. This pre-warrior profession makes money way too fast. Seeing you unmoved, Su King called out again, "If that's still not enough, I can raise it to 30,000 an hour." You immediately agreed 300,000 a day. That's 9 million in a month. From now on, you could buy any pre-warrior gear you wanted. Even finding a wife for Mandui would be no problem. Then you dashed back home in a flash. Today, you helped the nine-tailed fox improve his combat skills. But Mangdui also needed to boost his strength. His opponent today was purely careless. Tomorrow, with preparation, he'd naturally be harder to handle. Then you opened the system, eager to try out the ancient street training ground. You spent 10,000 to buy a ticket. After purchasing, the system displayed a prompt. The training ground can teleport you to any ancient world. The more ancient the training ground, the higher the danger. but the rewards are also better. Then, numerous training grounds were listed in order. You cautiously chose the first one, Ancient Sword. Instantly, you were sucked into another space. Red clouds filled the sky, and a desolate aura surrounded you. At the same time, the system popped up a training mission. Difficulty level 1 star. Kill 10 ancient strength tiger beasts. Reward, Transcendent 1 star. Atavistic bloodline evolution count +1. Pre-warrior strength +10. Spirit +5. Speed +3. Endurance +3. Pre-warrior strength +20. Spirit +5. Speed +5. Endurance +5. Seeing the rewards, your eyes lit up. Your current strength was only 10 points. After completing the mission, you'd reach 30 points. Wouldn't that make you stronger than a first-tier warrior? Thinking this, you eagerly began searching for the strength tiger beasts. A distant roar echoed. The strength tiger beast spotted you in its territory. You immediately ordered Mangdui to attack. He charged forward like a tank. The strength tiger beast was agile, and had skills like Tiger Roar Wave and Mandu Food Guard. But Mangdui also had Savage Bite. After a round of probing, Mangdui bit the strength tiger beast's neck, then activated Savage Bite. The strength tiger beast was successfully taken down. Killed one strength tiger beast. Bloodvein Mangdui. Experience +10. Battle will +10%. Obtain one strength tiger beast fang. 3 beast claws, and skill book, Tiger Pounce. There was even a skill book. You quickly opened it to check. You found it had only a 7% drop rate. This was pure dumb luck. You knew skill books were worth hundreds of thousands now. Though it wasn't very suitable for Mangdui, you still had him learn the skill. After half an hour of hunting, you successfully killed 10 strength tiger beasts. After claiming the mission rewards, you clearly felt yourself grow stronger, by a full fold. It felt like you were a true warrior. Then you were teleported out. After exiting, you checked the time. You found you'd been inside for a full 5 hours, but outside only 5 minutes had passed. The flow of time inside and outside was different. However, you still weren't sure if the 5 realms were real worlds. What would happen if you died inside? Then you bought another ticket. Remaining purchases for today, 1. It seemed the training ground could only be entered 3 times a day, so you bought the last ticket as well. This time upon entering, you saw 2 options before you. Option 1, Ancient Realm. Difficulty, 1 star. Rewards halved. Option 2, Primeval Realm. Difficulty, 2 stars. Rewards doubled. Due to your first success, you decisively chose option 2. After the scene shifted, you entered Gojai again. This time, the pre-sale rewards were clearly increased. Although the pre-sale master's rewards remained unchanged, it was still equivalent to an expensive blood kai pill. The boost it brought. Then you looked at the introduction of the Yaoying Wolf. You found its combat power was still inferior to the Livu beast. The difficulty hadn't increased much, but when you saw its living habits, you gasped sharply. The Yaoying Wolf is renowned for its group coordination. They execute precise cooperation when hunting. When a pack of Yaoying wolves moves out at dawn, even elite beasts become their prey. Just as you were feeling numb, suddenly from all directions came the sound of rapid movement, like a large net closing in. You immediately realized you were surrounded. By the time you hear the noise, the Yaoying wolf pack is already in its final kill phase. The barbarian turtle immediately began charging recklessly, trying to plow through and escape. But 7 or 8 Yaoying wolves rushed over quickly. The barbarian turtle seized the chance and bit one to death. The Yaoying wolf dropped a stat, speed. Even the pet could drop stats. You immediately added it to the barbarian turtle's panel. But then more shadow wolves kept pouncing. Some bit at the neck, some latched onto the hind legs. The barbarian turtle fought back and killed a few, dropping another stat, pet. Soon it couldn't hold on and collapsed with a crash. You were also torn apart by the wolves. Screaming, you opened your eyes. You found your body still intact. Because the pain had felt so real, you took a moment before looking at the clock on the wall. Only a minute had passed in real time, but you had wasted a 10,000 yuan entry ticket. With only 1 entry ticket left, you obediently chose the ancient street. Then, in 3 hours, you successfully completed the mission. The next morning, you arrived at the manor. Today, Su King was already waiting early. She then bowed to you. Teacher, I entrust today's training to you. Finally, you both summoned your pets. Instantly, you sensed something was off. The 9-tailed fox looked different from yesterday. Though it hadn't activated its talent skill yet, there was a scorching heat of flames. The 9-tailed fox had just learned a fire-type magic skill book yesterday. It suddenly dawned on you. No wonder it felt so much stronger after just a day apart. At the same time, you sighed inwardly at how rich the school beauty was. A magic skill book was far more expensive than an ordinary skill book. Moreover, pre-sale skill books didn't let pets learn skills freely. They shortened the time to master a skill. For example, the 9-tailed fox was already adept at magic. It would normally take 3 to 5 years to learn, but with a skill book, it could master it quickly. Of course, such skill books came at a sky-high price, but you weren't intimidated. Yesterday, the barbarian turtle had also improved greatly. After the venue transformed into a training ground, both pets stepped inside. Today, the nine-tailed fox immediately used its speed to create distance. After all, its agility was as high as 130 points, and at its peak, it could reach over 180 points. The barbarian turtle barely reached 70 now, unable to even touch the opponent's shadow. Then the nine-tailed fox's tail blade struck, slicing directly onto the barbarian turtle's shell. It actually carved a crack. The barbarian turtle's body shuddered violently, suffering intense mental pain. Because you were connected to the barbarian turtle, you knew it was badly injured. And that was just one slash. What skill had the nine-tailed fox learned? It had improved so dramatically. The school beauty spoke with a smile. The skill the nine-tailed fox learned is Flame Slash. Hearing the name, your heart skipped a beat. Flame Slash was a magic skill from the heavenly treasure. It was immensely powerful and absurdly expensive. After all, it was extracted from high-level pets. One of those skills that, once used, was gone forever. No wonder the opponent had improved so much. In the field, the nine-tailed fox kept relentlessly striking the barbarian turtle. Because its spirit was being battered at high density, it couldn't move at all. With a fort from you, directly ordered Mangdui to unleash his innate skill, Blood Burn. In an instant, the blood and Kai surged from Mangdui's wounds. Blood matter formed around his body, enveloping him. At the same time, an energy ring appeared, circling his body. The air was thick with a pungent smell of blood. Seeing this, Sukin and the female guard were greatly alarmed. Mangdui in this state had transformed from savage to utterly ferocious. Sukin quickly warned Nine-Tailed Fox not to let his guard down. But Mangdui's attributes had already tripled. His speed had even surpassed 190. He charged straight at Nine-Tailed Fox, barging through everything in his path. Nine-Tailed Fox was instantly terrified, his face losing all color. He desperately tried to shake off Mangdui behind him, but Mangdui took no deeders. Besides, the training ground wasn't large. Within seconds, he slammed Nine-Tailed Fox to the ground. Then, opening his massive jaws, he prepared to bite off his neck. I concede. Stop. These two voices rang out almost simultaneously. The once utterly frenzied Mangdui now froze like a statue. Nine-Tailed Fox trembled beneath him. Sukin's face was also drained of all color from fright. This was completely different from the outcome he had imagined. He had thought that after Nine-Tailed Fox learned Flame Slash, he could easily toy with Mangdui. Instead, it had pushed Mangdui into a complete rampage, nearly killing Nine-Tailed Fox. At that moment, you looked at Sukin and asked sternly, aren't we in a practical combat training session? Why use a magic skill like Flame Slash? If this were a real battlefield, you and Nine-Tailed Fox would both be dead by now. Sukin was silent for a moment, then nodded. I understand. I just wanted to win once. So don't use killing moves. How about we start with regular practical combat training first? Sukin nodded in agreement. You breathed a silent sigh of relief. Because Mangui's blood burn has a cooldown, it can't be used again for 12 hours. If the opponent kept using Flame Slash, Mangdui simply couldn't fight back. Then, Sukin then began applying healing medicine to Nine-Tailed Fox. Nine-Tailed Fox's injuries healed rapidly. He watched eagerly from the side, looking at Mangdui, who was also pitifully staring at Nine-Tailed Fox. Sukin noticed Mangdui's injuries and proactively handed over the healing medicine. Give him some treatment. You looked at the blue bottle in your hand. It was exactly the same as the ones displayed in the retail shop window, with a price tag as high as 120,000. Mangdui looked at you expectantly. Give it to me, quick. Give it to me, quick. If you don't, the wounds will heal on their own soon. But you simply put it away. This thing could still be sold on the black market for 80,000. Giving it to Mangdui would be a complete waste. Sukin noticed your little move, but didn't say anything. When Nine-Tailed Fox's treatment was finished and he was fully revived, the scars on Mandui's body had also mostly healed. Sukin was somewhat surprised. Teacher, your Mandui's self-healing ability is this strong. You scratched your head and smiled sheepishly. Ever since being called teacher, you had grown to love this feeling. Next, you trained hard for over 9 hours. After it ended, both of you were panting heavily. Although it seemed like the beasts were fighting, the spirit and physical energy of the tamer were also greatly consumed. At that moment, though your body was exhausted, you were actually quite happy. Although on the surface you were helping Sukin train, Sukin was also helping you and Mangdui gain real combat experience. And the key point was, he was paying for it. After the training session, the female guard handed you today's payment, a full 400,000. It turned out that at the very beginning, Mangdui had defeated Nine-Tailed Fox once, so the payment was an extra 100,000. After saying goodbye, you turned and left, exhausted. Sukin and the female guard watched you disappear into the night. The female guard suddenly asked, Miss, do you really think he's a teacher from First High? I feel like some of his actions aren't very steady. And if he really is a teacher from First High, he should be a senior tamer. but he only brought out a beast of the extraordinary 2-star level to train with you. After today's practical training, I can understand your mental exhaustion. Why is he so exhausted too? Su King was stunned for a moment. Indeed, if he were a seasoned tamer, his spirit value would far exceed hers. Accompanying a transcendent 2-star tamer for just a day of training, how could it leave him weary? The female attendant immediately asked, "Miss, should I investigate who he really is?" Su King thought for a moment, then gently shook her head. "No need. Who he is doesn't matter. What matters is that training with him greatly benefits both me and the nine-tailed fox. Besides, he can't possibly be my age. None of these people are stronger than me." On the other side, you return home unknowingly, and once again open today's ancient realm training ground. 3 chances. You used them all on the 1-star difficulty ancient realm. But today's trial stirred deep thoughts within you. What exactly is the ancient realm training ground? It doesn't feel like a virtual game world. Because you noticed the territory cleared yesterday hasn't respawned any blade-toothed beasts. Even the battle traces from yesterday remain, and other blade-toothed beasts left footprints and marks when they came to investigate. Yet you died yesterday in the Earthworm Wolf mission, only to revive perfectly in reality. Meanwhile, while hunting blade-toothed beasts today, you stumbled upon a compliance potion, which increases a 10 beast's compliance by 3%, only effective on beasts below Transcendent 2-star. This was an unexpected bonus, but utterly useless to you. I don't know. Why would the training ground drop such a thing? Just as you were pondering, your phone suddenly buzzed with a message. In the group chat, everyone was discussing that today's entrance exam rules were changing. In previous years, the third test was combat, but this year it would be held in the wasteland, surviving against wild beasts. This news struck like a thunderbolt. Wild beasts have rich combat experience, making it a near-death trial for exam students. One classmate suddenly remarked. No wonder this year's combat training grounds are so packed. Feels like many got the news early. Those words woke many up. But more were puzzled why the change was sudden. Someone in the know replied, because the new principal of the Advanced Tamer Academy said training tamers without real combat is a waste of resources. And there was even bigger news. In previous years, successful exam students earned migration rights. This year, Jiang City got a few extra slots, so candidates from big cities will take the exam as Jiang City students. The leaker was Wang Xian. His uncle is a leader in Jiang City's enforcement division, so he can access information others can't. You already had a faint suspicion. His words were likely true. A field combat exam had never been done before, but all combat training grounds were already booked, so you had to rely on today's new discovery for practical training, a bug in the ancient realm training ground. In past years, exams were against classmates, but this year's test would delve into forbidden zones. Everyone said entering the forbidden zone was a death sentence. An arena meant only for prodigies, yet you were thrilled. Because you found a system loophole. As long as you stayed in the ancient realm training ground, without completing its missions, you could extend combat time indefinitely. Even training for 1,000 hours inside meant only a few hours passed outside, so you planned, before the exam, to start your exclusive training regimen. Each day, you'd spar with school beauty Su King for 10 hours, then at night, enter the ancient realm with Mangui, deliberately avoiding mission targets like blade-toothed beasts, seeking out other fierce beasts for real combat. As long as you didn't die once, you could fight bitterly for half a month inside. Thus, Mangui gained 30 strength points daily, and even rich kids feeding spirit pills to their beasts couldn't match your and Mangui's growth rate. A week later, you earned tens of millions from Su King. In a week, you made tens of millions from Su King. The first thing I wanted was to treat the skin condition. To pay for your schooling, he spent his days hunting beasts in the demon lair for money, which led to blood poison seeping into his body from the lair. So the first thing you must do, from start to finish, is to completely cure the blood poison in his body. When you called the top-tier city hospital, the doctor said the blood poison had already reached the 3rd stage, and told you there was currently almost no cure. That answer hit you like a thunderbolt. How much money do you want? 10 million? 20 million? If it can be cured, I can scrape together any amount. The doctor was helpless too. Stage 2 could still be saved, but the 3rd stage was utterly untreatable. Then his tone shifted. Unless it's a high-level beast tamer, the healing beast at the academy, it can completely purge the blood poison, but the beast tamer holds a high status. If you can find a way to get him to act, then your father can still be saved. Hearing this, you immediately wiped away your tears. It seemed that only by getting into a high-level beast tamer academy could you have a chance to meet the person. Over the next month, you and Su King trained every day. A week before the big exam, Su King said she was going to the combat training ground, so she ended her sparring partnership with you. You felt a bit regretful too. After all, once the entrance exam was over, you two would be parallel lines that never cross. During this period, using the bug, you stayed in the ancient street training grounds, accumulating a total of 600 days. Your brute force had skyrocketed to over 1,000 points, allowing you to suppress it repeatedly. The nine-tailed fox's power also broke through the 60 mark, far surpassing a first-tier warrior's spirit. At the same time, you broke through the 50-point barrier. For humans, breaking through in spirit is much harder than in strength, so breaking through 50 in 3 years was already extremely fast. After all, once your spirit power exceeded 50, you could unlock another beast tamer slot, and contract a second beast. Then you plan to go buy another beast. Arriving at the beast center, a sales girl quickly came over to greet you. Little handsome, what's your beast taming talent? Big sis can help recommend one for you. You casually replied, any attribute is fine. Those words made her pause for a moment. Are you an all-attribute beast tamer? Many people in the talent shop turned to look at you. Realizing what happened, you said a bit awkwardly, just show me a few cheaper beasts. The girl led you to another area. This one is already the cheapest. Its control rate is only 72%. It's quite dangerous. I wouldn't recommend you buy it. You looked at this beast, feeling troubled. Is there anything cheaper? She sized you up and immediately lost interest. Don't say I didn't warn you. 72% control is the safe limit. Anything cheaper is practically scrap. It'll kill its master. With no choice, you had to go to other shops to search, because those beasts with acceptable control rates were all unqualified in the system's eyes. Their bloodline purity didn't even reach 1%. They weren't even worthy of being refined by the clan. This meant you could only buy those cheap, discarded beasts. Then you pulled up promotional texts on your phone. After contacting several people, you finally got in touch with a seller. He asked for 5,000 yuan upfront, wanting to sell you a beast with a 40% control rate, but you immediately refused, because you only wanted one with a control rate below 10%. He didn't care whether you lived or died. Soon, he shipped it out. When you get home, you saw a black cage at the door. As you approached, a dark shadow lunged at you instantly. Inside, it turned out to be a panda beast. It was said to be an ancient spirit beast, now mostly bred for cuteness. Most people could only keep it as a pet, but luckily, its bloodline purity was greater than 1%. Then, using your powerful spirit, you directly contracted it. Contract, Transcendent 1-star Panda Beast. Key Fan Organization, Transcendent 2-star Raging Iron Beast. Normal panda beasts are all purifiers. Transcendent 2-star Moonlight Panda follows. You open the image of the Moonlight Panda. Moonlight Panda, rank Transcendent 2-star. Feature, possesses a coat of soft white fur. Appearance, looks gentle and non-aggressive. At night, its eyes can absorb the power of moonlight. Evolution limit, Elite 2-star Dark Knight Panda Beast. Combat traits, support type pet, can reflect healing energy using moonlight, heals wounds for itself or allies, has decent night vision, agility triples under moonlight. Finally, the 4-dimensional attributes follow. You open the Raging Iron Beast Bestiary. Rank, Transcendent, 2-star, massive in size, sturdy build, with skin as hard as iron, able to withstand certain attacks, eyes emit a red glow at night. Combat trait, Iron Skin hard as iron, extremely high resistance to physical attacks, rage power, can unleash immense strength in battle. Astonishing destructive force, iron-eating fans, possesses teeth that can crush metal, easily tears through enemy armor, Iron Nest Roar effect. The Raging Iron Beast lets out a deafening roar. The sound wave contains spiritual power, forms a sonic shockwave, inflicts on enemies a dual blow, physical and psychological. Enemies lose combatability for a short time. Iron Fist Frenzy. When the Raging Iron Beast consumes enough iron elements, it can enter a frenzy state. Defense skyrockets. Attack speed and power greatly increase. Each attack carries a bloody iron ore, can weaken enemy defenses, and deal sustained damage. Finally, the explosive 4-dimensional attributes. Seeing this panel, you almost laughed out loud. As expected of an ancient ferocious beast, this one's starting point already surpasses the barbarian Dewey, probably even more ancient than the blood-striped barbarian Dewey. Then you used atavistic calmer on the panda beast. The next day, the major exam began. Everyone gathered outside the city is required. Surprisingly, the Flame Dragon Task Force handled security today. They are the Shark Blade of Genju's Demon Suppressor. The selection difficulty is extremely high. All are elites among elites. A nearby classmate who knew the situation said, the Flame Dragon Task Force has already eliminated all pets above Transcendent 2-star in the exam area. Still, you were a bit worried. Hundreds of hectares of area. Could there really be no stragglers? Soon, the principal took the stage to boost morale for the examinees, but just as the principal stepped down, another masked examiner came up on stage. I wonder how many of you will work out alive. As soon as those words were spoken, all students were shrouded in fear. Then he pulled out a banner. Some banners have been placed in the exam area. You need to form groups of 7 and find 8 banners. The first team to find the banners, all members pass the exam. The crowd immediately erupted in uproar. This relies too much on luck, doesn't it? You also frowned slightly. This isn't just about luck. If you know where the banners are in advance, victory comes easily. extremely prone to cheating. At the same time, the masked leader spoke again. Requirement 1 must be completed as a team. Individual completion doesn't count. Requirement 2, the team's pet or pet master cannot lose more than half. Otherwise, the mission is considered failed. The entire team loses qualification. After announcing the exam rules, students began forming their own teams. Teamwork. Top priority is to ensure the team members are preferably the strong. The strong are not just a backbone, but also a guarantee. At this moment, Liu Yanri had already gathered a crowd around him. They're all inviting each other to join their teams. But a sneer hangs on Liu Yanri's lips. Yet no one wants to team up with you at all. After all, the news about the defective elixir sale has spread across the whole school. You're now seen as a universal burden. Suddenly, a voice comes from behind. Tinsheng, please, you must join my team. A young man with slick back hair waves at you. That's Wang Kaichuan, the school's know-it-all. Earlier, when you bought the defective elixir, he was the one who leaked it. Wang Kaichuan has some influence, but he's not as arrogant as Liu Yanrui, and the other guy is from the richest family in Jingcheng, the youngest of the Wang clan. You look over puzzled. What do you mean? The teammates beside you frown and ask, Wang Kaichuan, you could pick anyone else. Why him of all people? His elixir is defective. But Wang Kaichuan ignores them completely. I turned down a lot of people on my way here. I came straight to find you. Hearing this, you realize he means no harm. He's not here just to mock you. So you nod, agreeing to team up. But Fang An beside you isn't happy. Why are you inviting him? His defective elixir will only drag us down. Fang An is Liu Ruyan's best friend. Back when you two were together, she'd always greet you with a smile. Now her attitude has done a complete 180. The other three stay silent, but their eyes all agree with Fang An. Wang Kaichuan grins and says to the team, Tinsheng is a real big shot, bro. You guys don't know anything. Wang Kaichuan, how dare you talk like that? Believe me, I'll get Liu Ruyan's boyfriend, Liu Yanrui, to teach you a lesson. Wang Kaichuan's smile instantly vanishes. Always going on about young Master Liu. Didn't they even let you join their team? Believe me, I'll kick you out of this one right now. Hearing that, Fang An shuts her mouth. Then Wang Kaichuan grabs your arm. Come on, don't just stand there. Let's go find our next teammate. Who's next? You can't help but wonder. Wang Kaichuan keeps it a mystery and doesn't tell you. Then he leads you through the crowd, to the most packed area. Through the wall of people, you see a girl surrounded by everyone. She's wearing a JK skirt and jacket. Stunningly beautiful, impossible to look away from. It's the school beauty Su King. You notice Liu Yanri is also inviting Su King. Your teammates and you feel a bit unsure. Su King is a super hot pick. Can we really snatch her away? Wang Kaichuan chuckles. Never know till you try. You once posed as a teacher, tutoring the aloof school beauty for a month. She'd sweetly call you teacher every day, and even serve you tea and water. You indulged in her breathtaking beauty daily, while raking in millions in tutoring fees from her. To'd have fought, Wang Kaichuan set a sweet trap for you. On exam day, the school beauty discovered your identity, but she didn't come after you. Instead, she deliberately had those who mocked you eliminated. Now, you've come with a team, to invite Su King to join. Unexpectedly, top-tier player, Liu Yanri blocks your way. Su King, trust me, our team is your best choice. Liu Yanri's sincere words ring out, but Su King's expression remains cold, as if she's waiting for something. Seeing this, Wang Kaichuan steps forward. Su King, why not consider joining us? I can even offer a secret piece of intel. Liu Yanri glances over at your team. When he sees you, his brow furrows. Beside him, Liu Ruyan looks at you with disdain. Tinsheng, I can't believe you bought a defective elixir and still have the nerve to take the exam. You let out a cold laugh. I turned back and asked, do you still remember what I said back then? You'd better not let me run into you at the grand exam. Liu Ruyan was publicly threatened. She was absolutely furious. That broken-eared spirit turtle of yours. Even if you offered it to me in soup, I wouldn't take it. And you still dared to dream of going against my life with a bird. At that moment, Liu Yanri also threatened Tinsheng. You're really out of luck. It's perfectly normal for a batch of people to die in the Forbidden Ground grand exam. You're dead for sure this time. The crowd all cast sympathetic glances at you. Your eyes turn cold. You have a point. It is indeed normal for some to die in this grand exam. Liu Yanri and Liu Ruyan suddenly felt a chill. Su King also turned her head slightly to look at you. At the same time, she asked Wang Kaichuan, do you really know who he is? Of course. My third uncle is the chairman of the Jincheng Guild. The two began exchanging cryptic words. Moments later, Su King worked toward the squad. She actually chose Wang Kaichuan's team. Liu Yanri was stunned. The surrounding crowd was also left bewildered. Was Su King trying to fail the grand exam? Before they could figure it out, everyone began entering the wasteland forbidden ground. Each person received a wristband that could monitor vital signs, and of course, send out a distress signal. After the squad advanced some distance into the forbidden ground, A fierce tiger suddenly sprang out from not far away. The three girls immediately screamed. Zhao Zhiding appeared calm on the surface, but his legs couldn't help trembling. A wild transcendent two-star colored glass tiger was extremely formidable. Wang Kaichun let out a cry of alarm, and actually ran behind you. Only you and Su King remained perfectly calm. Because his Nangkala fox could easily slay the colored glass tiger, he wasn't worried at all. But he was somewhat surprised at what gave you such confidence. Having grown used to spirit beasts, you were completely unfazed by the colored glass tiger. Still, you were a bit conflicted. The iron beast hadn't finished evolving yet. If you summoned the barbarian turtle, you'd be exposed on the spot. If Su King found out that the person she'd been calling teacher all along was you, she'd chase you with a machete for 3 days and nights. Wang Kaichuan, seeing you not making a move, grew anxious. Big shot, aren't you going to act? We're here for the practical brand exam, you know. You turned and gave Wang Kaichuan a deep look. This guy, could he really know something? At that moment, the colored glass tiger charged at you. Zhao Zhiding beside you immediately moved away, showing no intention to help. And the other side, Fang Anna directly shouted, I knew Tinsheng would hold us back. Everyone don't save him. We've got 3 death slots anyway. At the critical moment, a flash of fluorescent light streaked by. The colored glass tiger was severed from its body. It crashed to the ground with a thud. Everyone immediately looked at Su King. Her Nangkala fox was licking the blood off its claws. So decisive in action. Doesn't seem like a newbie beast tamer at all. A wild transcendent 2-star spirit beast. And it couldn't even last a second before you. The short-haired girl he used said admiringly. The others chimed in agreement. Zhao Zhiding quietly summoned his spirit beast, a 2-meter-tall ape guard. Everyone else recognized it. This was once a top 100 spirit beast on the imperial list. Then Wang Kaichuan suggested that everyone summon their spirit beasts first, so they could react in time if danger arose. One by one, they summoned their spirit beasts. Fang An's spirit beast was a star spirit butterfly. Tiyu's was a swift thunder leopard. Yuki Ayao's was a green spirit waste. And they were all transcendent 2-star. Though everyone complained about how competitive it was, they'd all been secretly evolving. At that moment, Wang Kaichuan also summoned his spirit beast. It turned out to be a round, chubby pig. Its body radiated a dazzling golden light, creating a stark contrast with the other spirit beasts. But no one had a mocking look on their face, because this pig was the #1 spirit beast on the imperial list. The lazy pig. It could release a special spiritual energy that affected the enemy's mind, slowing their movements. Lacks fighting spirit. Seeing this, Wang Kaichuan hastily explained with humility that his old man had spent a fortune to get it. Don't look at me like that. Compared to Lan Tinsheng and Su King, I'm far behind. Fang An frowned with slight displeasure. Su King goes without saying, but Tinsheng just bought a discounted retail item, right? In our squad, he's the weakest. Suddenly, rustling came from the jungle again. Several more glass tigers darted out from afar. Zhao Zhiding shouted Jade Flute, and the next second stood beside Su Kin, ready to fight alongside him. Fang An, however, hid behind Wang Kaichuan. Unexpectedly, Yu was very fierce, directly sending her shadow training leopard out to clash with the blast tigers. Though the 2 spirit beasts were evenly matched, the blast tigers were clearly greater in number, and they nearly tore the shadow training leopard apart. At that moment, Yukiaya cried out in alarm, 3 blast tigers are charging at us. Her spirit beast was the support-type green spirit tree demon, utterly unsuited for combat. Zhao Zhiding's position also showed no intention of acting. His gaze instantly turned cold. He then summoned the blood-patterned barbarian turtle. A bloody stench rose within several meters. Su Kin's pupils contracted sharply. She looked over in disbelief. Among you 3, 2 have lost combat ability, so you must kill all the blast tigers. The barbarian turtle charged out at once, dodging the blast tiger's jaws, biting its neck in one go, then violently shaking its head. The blast tiger died instantly. As the barbarian turtle unleashed blood armor impact, one glass tiger had its belly ripped open, another was torn apart by its claws. Moments later, the barbarian turtle stood drenched in blood, while all 8 glass tigers lay dead. Everyone stared ahead in shock. Zhao Zhiding's legs trembled with fear. Fang An's face was also dark. You looked at the group and couldn't help asking, when danger comes, you all shrink back faster than the next. Is this what you call a team? Fang An barely recovered his composure, then sneered, Tinsheng, what are you so cocky about? You just killed a few glass tigers. This time, we let you have your moment. Next time, we won't need a waste like you to act. Then he said to the others, maybe we overestimated the glass tigers this time. They're not that strong at all. We could all take on a group easily. Zhao Zhiding immediately stepped forward and puffed out his chest. I didn't get my turn this time. Next time we run into a pack of glass tigers, I'll show you all what I've got. No sooner had he spoken, than rustling sounds came from the side again, and 7 or 8 more glass tigers burst out. This time, you directly pulled Yu and Yuki Ayao, and hid behind Su Kin. While Fang Anna was still hesitating, Wang Kaichun shoved him forward. Fang, it's your turn. Fang An had no choice but to steel himself, sending his star spirit butterfly to flutter above the glass tigers, hoping to scatter sleeping powder from the air and then slice off their heads with its wings. But the butterfly could never reach the right spot, where the glass tigers dodged it. Soon, the star spirit butterfly was torn apart by the glass tigers. Zhao Zhiging finally reacted, but it was too late. His position was surrounded and mauled by 4 glass tigers, on the verge of being devoured. Zhao Zhiging wanted to call for help, but Su King ignored him entirely. Wang Kaichuan just shrugged innocently. Then Zhao Zhiging thought of you. In a stiff tone, he said, Tiansheng, save my position. You had intended to help, but his attitude made you give up. Seeing you ignore him, Zhao Zhiging pointed at you and threatened, Tiansheng, are you looking for death? I'm brothers with young Master Liu. I'll have him kill you, believe it. You chuckled lightly at this. I know you're Liu Yanri's lackey. Let Liu Yanri come save you. Zhao Zhiging's face flushed red with rage, but when he turned and saw Yuan Wei under siege, he could only fall to his knees with a thud. Brother Lan, please save my Yuan Wei. You looked at him and laughed. If only you'd had this attitude earlier. Zhao Zhiging's heart leaped with hope. You've decided to help? Just as he thought he could win your sympathy, you flatly refused his plea. Now you call me dead. Too late. Only then did Zhao Zhiging realize you were toying with him. Wang Kaichuan, meanwhile, launched a soul-searing question. You and Fang An could have saved KU's taming shadow beast, but you chose to stand by and do nothing. Getting eliminated is your own damn fault. Then he patted the two-how pig beside him. Instantly, the pig began to grunt, and a bizarre, hypnotic sound echoed around them. Miraculously, the blast tiger slowed down, and finally stood frozen in place. Su King immediately ordered the 9-tailed fox to strike fast. Moments later, all the glass tigers were defeated. The crisis was resolved. But the team had changed. KU's taming shadow beast was on its last breath. Zhao Zhiging's Yuan Wei was devoured. Fang An's star spirit butterfly had fallen. All 3 lost their exam qualifications and were taken away by the military. At this moment, only Yuki Ayao's green forest tree demon, Wang Kaichuan's lazy pig, and Su King's 9-tailed fox remained. According to the exam rules, whether contracted beast or spirit, not one more could be sacrificed, or the whole team would be disqualified. Suddenly, a small firework rose in the distant sky. That was the signal triggered by claiming a flag. Didn't expect a team to find a flag so fast. Must be a reconnaissance type beast or skill, so you sped up and scouted ahead. But just after a short walk, Yuki Aya made a major discovery. His green forest tree demon had found a flag, and it was not far ahead. When you arrived, you saw, on an open field, a red flag planted in the ground. Everyone sensed something odd about the spot. Su King's 9-tailed fox rushed over to investigate. The moment it stepped into the flag's area, the ground suddenly collapsed in a massive sinkhole. The 9-tailed fox quickly leaped to safety, finally landing back on solid ground. A giant pit appeared before you, at least several hundred meters deep. Everyone was stunned, because at the bottom of the pit, there were sharp bamboo spikes. The group was troubled. How do we get that flag? Yuki Ayao timidly raised her hand. I can try. She ordered the green forest tree demon to root itself at the edge, extending its branches over the pit. It gently wrapped around the flag and pulled it out. Yuki Ayao frowned. It's so loose, like it was just stuck in here casually. You also noticed that after the flag was pulled, no firework went off. Suddenly, a sharp screech came from the sky. A giant bird swooped down, snatched the flag from Yuki Ayao's hand, and flew to a large tree, where several figures stood. It was Liu Yanri and Liu Ruyan's team. They sneered. What did I say? This year's exam will kill a few people, and here you are, walking right into the trap. You were surprised. They had set up such a huge trap, Su King explained. There's no time to dig a pit this big during the exam. It was clearly set up before the exam, meant for stronger immigrant students, to weaken their overwhelming advantage over local examinees. Liu Yanri, seeing you'd seen through the trap, prepared to eliminate you first, but Liu Ruyan insisted on a one-on-one fight. The beast that snatched the flag was his Ultra 2-star, the Light Feather Bird, not a great fighter, but against a green forest tree demon it was a total mismatch. Then the Light Feather Bird charged at you, its sharp claws able to tear through iron. The group wore smug smiles, questioning if Liu Ruyan was overdoing it. After all, they thought, you only had an Ultra 1-star spirit turtle. Liu Ruyan let out a cold snort. I told you I would kill him. Now he's completely forgotten your kindness to him. He only wants to kill the one who knows his dark past. You're the only obstacle to his marrying into wealth. Your heart felt complicated. How did Liu Ruyan become like this? Then you decided not to hold back. You snapped your fingers. The pre-order space behind you exuded a terrifying killing intent. An invisible pressure spread out. Wang Kaichuan's heart raced. Thrilled, he thought, here it comes, here it comes. Brother Long's tyrant tortoise is about to appear. But what emerged from the pre-order space wasn't the man tortoise. It was a panda gleaming with metallic luster. Both sides were stunned. Liu Ruin gasped, "What spirit beast is this? Didn't everyone say you contracted a stench turtle?" Liu Yanri squinted, uncertain. Could this be an evolved form of the panda beast? His teammate added. Just by its look, it's clearly a reject. On the other side, Wang Kaichuan and his crew were dumbfounded. He felt his scalp tingle. Brother Long's spiritual power has reached 50. Our dynasty is terrifyingly strong. I definitely chose the right person to follow. Su King rarely opened her mouth in shock. She recalled the time she sparred with you. Even the top beast on the heavenly list couldn't beat you. Now you've become a dual beast pre-order master. This growth rate is simply unstoppable. At that moment, Litha the bird attacked the raging iron beast. It launched its assault. Its sharp claws clamped onto the iron beast's shoulder. At the same time, it frantically flapped its wings, ready to tear off a chunk of flesh. But the iron beast's body stood firm as a mountain. Its blood-red eyes were filled with brutality. It grabbed the Litha the bird's leg and slammed it hard to the ground. Then it smashed it repeatedly. The Litha the bird let out a pain cry. Liu Ruin's smile froze. She shouted in disbelief. How can a trash beast be this strong? Litha the bird, kill this stupid panda now. I invested 2 million in you. Can it really be worse than a 5,000? Reject. Hearing this, the Litha the bird struggled wildly, but its strength was far inferior to the iron beast's, so it remained pinned. Then the iron beast raised its muscular arm and tore the Litha the bird in two. Liu Ruin was struck as if by lightning. She glared at you viciously. Ten Sheng, I'm not done with you. Before she could finish her threat, the iron beast tossed the Litha the bird into its mouth. It chewed twice and swallowed it down, then spat out a few feathers. Liu Ruin's words died in her throat. Everyone felt a chill down their spine. Wang Kaichuan and the others gasped. Though spirit beasts devouring each other was normal, this panda beast had a villainous vibe to its eating. You worked up and kicked the iron beast. Did I say you could eat? This reckless move made everyone's hearts leap into their throats. Everyone knew a bloodthirsty beast was unstable. Provoking it now was dangerous. Across from you, Liu Yanri smirked, as if imagining the iron beast tearing you apart. Wang Kaichuan and Yukiaya covered their eyes. But the iron beast raised its claw, rubbed the back of its head, and grinned stupidly. Everyone was dumbfounded. Such a ferocious beast was this docile before you. They dared not imagine how high your bind with it was. You walked straight toward Liu Yanri. Your trap nearly killed us. Don't you owe us an explanation? Liu Yanri's face darkened. But, one not even good at fighting. And you dare face me with such arrogance? Jiang Meng stepped forward. Young Master Liu, no need to waste words. Let me kill him. Then he summoned a massive Yuan demon. It charged at you in an instant. Iron Beast collided with the opponent. The two spirit beasts attacked savagely. Then everyone felt something was off. Yuan Mo's power was as high as 180 points. How could it be evenly matched with Panda Beast? Jiang Meng saw the fight was deadlocked. To save face, he directly had Yuan Mo equip gear. Those nearby immediately stopped him. Are you crazy? If the proctor finds out, you'll be disqualified for cheating. Unexpectedly, Liu Yanri told Jiang Meng not to worry. If the proctor comes, I'll explain for you. With Liu Yanri backing him, Jiang Meng directly tossed the gear to Yuan Mo. Yuan Mo put on the equipment, and his combat power instantly rose a level. Wang Kaichuan, standing nearby, grew anxious. Su King, should we help Brother Long? Su King replied nonchalantly, no need. Have you forgotten he still has that turtle? And the field, you looked at Jiang Meng and snapped your fingers. Iron Beast let out a sky-shaking roar. Muscles instantly piled up on its body. Then it wildly struck the opponent with its claws. Even though Yuan Mo's fawn armor pierced its palms, Iron Beast didn't retreat a single step. As its attacks grew fiercer, Yuan Mo soon couldn't hold out. Finally, it was slammed hard under a tree. Jiang Meng knelt in despair. Then a horrifying scene unfolded. Iron Beast devoured Yuan Mo on the spot. Everyone was so stunned by the battle, they couldn't speak. Surprise flickered in Su King's eyes. Even more so, he had never seen a spirit beast so fearless of death. Aside from its poor grade, it was perfect in every other way. Outside the exam grounds, the parents were frantic. The light points in the exam zone kept dwindling, meaning teams were being eliminated one after another. Among them, your foster mother was the most anxious. No one had told her the exam rules had changed. Only now did she learn that you had taken the money meant for her hospital bills to buy a spirit beast for the exam. But when she went to pay the hospital fees, she found you had already settled them. After much inquiry, she discovered you had bought a culled spirit beast to take part in this perilous exam. Seeing her tears, a nearby noblewoman sneered. I told you to give up those unrealistic fantasies. Who knew he'd still dare to take the exam? Then I'll just have to use a little trick. Your foster mother turned to look. It was the wife of General Lan Zhenbang, the demon suppressor. She was also your stepmother. It turned out you were the general's illegitimate son. because your identity wasn't acknowledged. You were abandoned in this border town. Luckily, your foster parents took you in, and Lan Zhenbeng's wife, to keep you from returning to the Lan family, had arranged for elite students to target you in the exam. Hearing that she had sent prodigies from the big city, your foster mother was seized by terror. Tiansheng is in danger. At that moment, you were about to deal with Liu Yanri, when a buzzing sound suddenly came from afar. Someone nearby shouted, "Brother Liu, the proctors are coming. Let's get out of here." Liu Yanri immediately distanced himself from you. Then he threw down a threat. "Tiansheng, don't get eliminated too easily. I'll deal with you myself at the end of the exam." Then he and the others quickly left. You didn't stop them. Instead, you and your team slipped away too. Wang Kaichun caught up and asked, "Brother Lan, why are we running too?" You shot him a glare. "With such a big trap left here, how would you explain it?" "Sure, the trap is allowed by the exam rules, but not if it falls into the proctor's hands." Wang Kaichun looked regretful. "We didn't even snatch any of Liu Yanri's team's flags. It's only going to get harder from here." So the team sped up this search for flags. After searching for a while, you finally found one. As fireworks burst in the sky, Wang Kaichun grumbled as he collected the flag. "Let's move, otherwise, other teams will catch the scent." Just as everyone was about to leave, Su King stood still, staring ahead. She pointed toward the teacher in front. "Didn't you notice someone over there?" Suddenly, every hair on your body stood on end. Su King actually called you teacher. It had been ages since you last heard that title. She was about to dredge up old grudges. Then you cautiously glanced at Su King. She was staring at you with a resentful look. "Su King, classmate, you're too polite. There's no need to call me teacher anymore." Su King blinked her big eyes. "Why not, teacher?" she asked innocently. At that moment, you felt both guilty and secretly thrilled. After all, who could resist a seductive yet innocent beauty calling them teacher? Wang Kaichun sidled over. "You two have a pretty niche hobby. But shouldn't we check the situation first?" Wang Kaichun's words instantly made you both blush. "Don't talk nonsense." You both snapped almost simultaneously. Just then, a squad emerged from the jungle. It was one of the teams from the major exam migration. They carried 2 banners. Leading them was a burly young man, followed by a massive black bear. It gave an overwhelming, sky-covering presence. Wang Kaichun screamed in fright. "That's cheating. With that build, it's clearly a transcendent tier 3-star beast." You also recognize this giant bear. It was indeed a transcendent tier 3-star ironclad war bear. Since the major exam had age restrictions, you had to contract a spirit beast at age 18. So, anyone fielding a transcendent tier 3-star beast now was either exceptionally gifted or had evolved illegally. If they truly had such strength, why come to a border town to take the exam? Clearly, they were the latter, and these people had shown hostility toward you earlier. Sure enough, they all looked at you. "Brother Bear, this is the kid, right? Take him out, and we're done with the deal." The leader, Qichen, spoke to Su King and the others. "We're after him. You two step aside. I won't touch you." Su King crossed her arms and ignored him. Wang Kaichun, however, snickered. "If you don't need your brain, donate it. Can't you see our squad's down to 4? Lose one more, and we're all eliminated." Seeing this, Qichen didn't waste words. "Then die with him." The ironclad warbear charged immediately. You ordered the stone iron beast to block it, but the huge gap in size and strength sent the stone iron beast tumbling instantly. At that moment, a chill ran through all of you. The 2 spirit beasts weren't even on the same level. Their combat power was worlds apart. The ironclad warbear charged at you unimpeded. Su Kin urgently gave orders. The 9-tailed fox leaped in front of the warbear and unleashed its talent skill, Tail Blade plus Flame Slash. It actually carved a gash in the warbear's chest. Qichen was inwardly startled. No wonder it's a spirit beast ranked 33rd on the heavenly list. It can defy the odds and injure a 3-star with 2-star strength. But his smile grew more enigmatic. 2 more powerful auras emerged behind him. A thunderclap line crackling with arcs, and a warda steed horse. These 2 spirit beasts were also transcendent tier 3-star. You were shocked. They had all evolved illegally. Suddenly you thought of that woman. Was it the Lan family's woman who helped you sneak into Jiang City? Qicheng said calmly. "You don't need to worry about that. All you need to know is someone doesn't want you leaving alive. Just accept your fate." You frowned at him. "Lately, everyone's been telling me to accept my fate. But who the hell do you think you are?" Qicheng sighed. "Before we came, we checked you out. You know, a beast tamer is built on money. Your talent means nothing to us. Right now, you can't do anything but wait to die." No sooner had he spoken, than came a grinding, crunching sound. Everyone turned toward the noise. The stone iron beast was clinging to the warbear's back, frantically gnawing at its armor. You could feel the stone iron beast's power skyrocketing, gradually entering a more frenzied state. Qicheng immediately commanded Warbear to shake off Iron Beast, but Iron Beast's claws held on tightly. Warbear bared its teeth in a sinister grin. It continued madly gnawing at the armor on its opponent. At the same time, Iron Fist Rampage struck 8 times, fully suppressing War Bear. You see, it was the iron armor that granted War Bear its formidable defense. Even large armor-piercing rounds couldn't penetrate it. However, the iron armor bear's hide wasn't that tough. In just tens of seconds, the bear's back armor was devoured completely. Tuchin could no longer stay calm. Sup that stupid bear now. Don't let it keep eating. But it was already too late. Iron Beast had met the conditions for berserking. Its muscles bulged beyond belief. The moment Iron Fist Rampage was unleashed, every punch landed into Iron Armor Bear's spine. Without the steel's protection, War Bear was pounded until its flesh split open. Its entire frame was bent from the blows. As the punches landed harder and faster, Iron Armor Bear was hammered to the ground. Its 10-meter body crashed down with a thud. Grizzly Bear stared ahead in disbelief. His dream of entering the advanced pre-sale academy was shattered. But didn't the general's wife say Lan Tiansheng's spirit beast was a reject? Chuking couldn't help but glance at you. This guy's beasts all share one trait. Their obedience is abnormally high. You see, others pay a huge price just to raise their bond with a beast by 1%. Just then, the lazy pig grunted. Fat Bear and his team began to slow down. You and Su King exchanged a look. You knew this was the perfect time to strike. Nine-Collared Fox went all out, tail-slashing blade fully deployed. A few slashes took down 2 spirit beasts. You couldn't help but gasp. It seemed they had been holding back during practice. Otherwise, now in the real exam, they wouldn't be so effortlessly skilled. You also sent Iron Beast and Barbarian Turtle charging forward. In an instant, they wiped out the enemy's beasts. Kyuchin gritted his teeth and roared, Lan Tiansheng, you bastard. Our plans for advancement end here. From now on, not only the Lun family will hunt you down, we'll use every connection to put a bounty on your head. You shot Kyuchin a cold glare. Still thinking of leaving? This is a restricted zone, you know. A pre-sale master without a spirit beast. What makes you think you can get out of here? Tuchin panicked. You can't kill us. I've already notified the exam proctors. You glanced back at your team. Sukin immediately understood and turned to leave. Wang Kaichun followed with Yukiao. Yukiao asked, pale-faced, Brother Lun, will he kill them? Wang Kaichun shook his head with a smile. No, Brother Lun just wants to protect them well before the proctors arrive. No sooner had he spoken, screams echoed from the jungle. Even Wang Kaichun's lips twitched. Soon, you and Iron Beast caught up with the team. You handed Wang Kaichun 2 bloodstained flags. When the proctors reached the scene, they were horrified by what they saw. A pre-sale master, not even in human form, and his beast, just a mangled wreck. Such ruthless methods. One proctor nearly threw up. A male proctor's face turned grim. Clearly, this was an illegally evolved team. Their combat strength should have been high, yet they were still so brutally crushed. Another male proctor dropped a shocking revelation. This is the 8th team to be wiped out. Casualties in the exam have already exceeded half. This is nowhere near our expectations. The situation is out of control now. The lead proctor, a middle-aged man, nodded. Report this immediately. Let the higher-ups decide. Outside the exam grounds, the examiners stared at the vanishing dots on the screen. Their expressions turned blank. How could so many have died? This area was swept by the military multiple times. There shouldn't be any beasts we can't handle. That means there's a team hunting down other examinees. Their goal isn't just to pass the exam. A small squad wants to eliminate all competitors. The principal rushed over in a hurry. Stop the exam immediately. Let the remaining students all come out alive. The examiner sneered at the principal. End the assessment. The entire school will be disqualified. Can you bear this responsibility? The principal was left speechless. After all, the students had prepared for this day, training hard for over a decade. He simply couldn't take responsibility for such a major matter. Meanwhile, your squad had already searched the exam area thoroughly, but you didn't spot a single banner. Only then did you realize there were only 8 banners in this exam. The rest had likely been found already, so now it was a test of who could stay patient. You then suggested the squad set an ambush here. That way, the enemy was exposed while you stayed hidden. The initiative would always be in your hands. After hearing your analysis, Wang Kaichuan's eyes sparkled. Brother Lun truly lives up to being a top student, so thorough in his thinking. Sukin beside him remarked lightly. After all, he's a born teacher. You had no comeback to that, so you could only give Sukin an awkward smile. Suddenly, a rustling came from the jungle ahead. A flower emerged from the thicket. Its large mouth opened slightly, then released a cloud of spores. You were puzzled. Shadow Flower Demon, this spirit beast. Couldn't tell if it was wild or tamed. Yukiao suddenly spoke up. I recall the spores of the Shadow Flower Demon can put nearby enemies to sleep. Only then did you realize, but your bodies had already been affected. A wave of drowsiness washed over you. Wang Kaichuan and Yukiao felt it most. They couldn't even lift their eyelids. You and Su King, however, showed no reaction. It seemed strong mental fortitude could resist these spores. Then several figures emerged from the opposite bushes. It was one of the 3 immigrant candidate squads. Leading them was a red-haired youth. The crew cut guy beside him asked, "Brother Kai, do we need to be this cautious? Caution ensures a long voyage. Besides, that squad we just met was strong. Jiang Cheng isn't entirely useless either." A girl with twin tails beside them sneered. "That squad actually sold their classmates' coordinates to us. How despicable." You hid behind a tree, thinking. Someone had revealed the squad's position. Your first fort was Liu Yanrui's squad. After all, you'd only encountered 2 teams, besides the one that get wiped out. The other was Liu Yanrui's. You really should have taken the risk, and taken them out back then. You and Su King exchanged a glance, and silently moved closer to each other. Su King stayed ahead, following behind you. The crew cut guy scanned the area. "Brother Kai, do you think that squad has a banner? They might have been taken out by another team." Brother Kai said coldly, "We still have to check. Only 8 banners. To win, we can't let any squad slip by." Suddenly, the grass ahead rustled. The group tensed up. A battered tortoise beast crawled out, moving very slowly. Its cracked shell made it look pitiful. The group relaxed. No one cared about a badly injured tortoise spirit beast. Then a voice came from behind the squad. "Looking for me." The group spun around. Beside a young man stood a dirty panda beast, as if it had just been through a fierce battle. The opponents didn't act rashly. They quickly scanned their surroundings. "You spoke up. No need to look. I'm the only one left in my squad. Your flower demon took them all down." Brother Kai looked puzzled. "Then how are you still standing? Is your mental fortitude that strong?" "Over 50 points. How could a candidate from a small city be that strong?" "Just some special methods, that's all." Your tone is very sincere, but this only makes Brother Kai across from you more suspicious. "You're telling me everything. What are you after? Your spirit beast strength shouldn't be worth mentioning. I'm very curious why you'd willingly expose yourself. You didn't hesitate at all. I know our team can't win on our own, but I can't stand letting our enemy take the victory. Being honest is my way of asking to join you." After Brother Kai learned that Liu Yanrui is your enemy, he instantly understood everything. Cooperation is possible, but how can I trust you? You scratch your head. You must have steel shackles that limit strength, right? You can put them on my mutant panda beast. When Brother Kai heard you even mention your spirit beast, his trust in you grew a bit more. Then the crew cut youth took out 2 shackles, and directly locked them onto Shitai's body. This kind of steel shackle, even 2 armored vehicles can't snap it directly, so I suggest you don't waste your effort. After the warning, the others finally fully relaxed. The twin-tailed girl looked back, a bit puzzled. "Brother Kai, that ugly turtle won't cause us trouble, will it?" Brother Jai glanced casually. "That turtle's already like this. What combat power could it possibly have? It's even worse than the chain panda beast." At that moment, the blood-patterned barbarian turtle glanced at you. Just as they turned around to question you, the barbarian turtle suddenly lunged and bit down on the shadow waste flower. The terrifying crushing bite directly snapped the opponent in half. The long-haired girl beside him was instantly caught in the backlash, screaming as she collapsed to the ground. Brother Jai and the others only then reacted. The barbarian turtle's speed exploded suddenly. A violent surge of baleful energy erupted instantly. You decisively ordered the barbarian turtle to activate its innate skill. The blood-soaked attribute surged another threefold. It directly bit toward the nearby corpse eater. Though this spirit beast was also strong in power, it couldn't resist the barbarian turtle's attack at all. In just a few moves, its body was crushed. Brother Jai and the others were completely stunned, their eyes nearly popping out. What the hell is this turtle spirit beast? How does it even know a skill like Tiger Pounce? The twin-tailed girl reacted first. Her unicorn instantly knocked the barbarian turtle flying. You took a deep look at her. The unicorn ranked 27th on the leaderboard. That girl's identity is probably no simple matter. By now, the others finally caught onto Brother Kai's scheme. The fire corpse lunged at you instantly. The twin-tailed girl's unicorn also closed in fast. Suddenly, a blaze shot out from behind, striking the unicorn with precision. The unicorn dodged the fatal blow instantly, but the follow-up tail strike left it no room to evade. It could only use its hardest horn to block, only to have it snap in an instant. The twin-tailed girl's face changed drastically. Brother Kai and the others were shocked. Su King's flawless beauty plus a top-ranked spirit beast. She doesn't seem like a local from a small place like Jingcheng. Brother Kai forced himself to stay calm and assess the situation. We still have the advantage. They only have 2 spirit beasts. The panda beast is restrained by the steel shackles. But the moment he turned his head, he nearly cursed. There was Shitai eating like crazy. As the last piece of steel entered his massive mouth, the situation became 3:4. On the other hand, your and Su Kin's spirit beasts were clearly stronger. Brother Kai's guts were twisting with regret. He quickly said, "Wait. We don't really have a grudge. It's just about the flag." Fighting it out, who knows who will come out ahead. How about this? We give you both flags. That bastard Liu Yanrui wanted to use us to kill you by proxy. I need to find him and settle this. You were a bit surprised, but what he said was true. A fierce battle wouldn't benefit anyone, so you agreed. His brother Jai and his crew were leaving. He turned back and said, your team's strong, no doubt, but something seems wrong with this exam. A lot of people have been killed. They didn't even get a chance to crush their wristbands. Wash yourselves. Then he turned and left the place. Hearing this, your faces turned grim. It seemed something had indeed gone wrong with the grand exam. But, your squad now held 4 banners. The odds of victory had clearly increased. The Trident's leap was within reach. You directly proposed taking the initiative to hunt for other squads. After all, these 4 banners were likely all in one squad's hands. Wang Kaichuan and Yuki Ayao had no objections. Su King also nodded in agreement. Then the 4 of you set out to take the initiative. Meanwhile, outside the exam grounds, parents wailed. In unison, 2/3 of the names on the big screen had turned black. Some students were forced to abandon the exam, but most squads were completely wiped out. When teleported out, only a pile of bones remained. The chief examiner was also in an emergency meeting to discuss a plan. Among the surviving names, only the immigrant squad was most suspicious. The adjutant reported the top 3 immigrant squads. Only one squad was at full strength. The other 2 had suffered varying degrees of casualties. The chief examiner immediately asked, which immigrant squad is at full strength? After receiving the answer, Yangcheng, the chief examiner immediately ordered, have the proctors inside keep constant watch on the Yangcheng squad. Report any suspicious activity to me at once. Adjutant, contact the city's principal immediately. I need the detailed information. Soon, specific information came back from Yangcheng. They did indeed have a few examinees who had immigrated to Jiancheng to take the grand exam. This answer largely dispelled the chief examiner's doubts. But the strange thing was, according to the Yangcheng principal's report, these examinees' abilities were actually not outstanding. They didn't even count as top tier. Hearing this, the chief examiner frowned slightly. How could such students have survived until now? But the adjutant's next words made the chief examiner's heart skip a beat. However, Yangcheng recently experienced an ancient beast uprising. Instantly, everyone present changed color. A wave of intense fear swept over the room. Ancient Society, one of humanity's greatest villain organizations. Their creed was to bring ancient ferocious beasts back into the world. Because they could harness the beast's immense power, they sought to shatter the current world order and eliminate all beast tamers. This operation was too much like their style. Clearly, it was a fearsome ancient totem. You called it a child's tattoo, a snarling ancient ferocious beast, yet you insisted it was a domesticated fowl, and you had merely casually taken down a pair of hot-headed youths. But the examiner claimed they were Yangcheng's top squad. Now, the 4 of you decided to take the initiative to seize the banners. Unexpectedly, after searching for a day and a night, you hadn't encountered a single squad. You only found a battlefield. When you approached, you were horrified to discover the ground littered with beast corpses. There were even remnants of beast tamers devoured, and you finally recognized them. They were none other than Jai's squad, whom you had parted with not long ago. Deng Kaichuan suggested leaving quickly. Suddenly, a proctor appeared ahead. Spotting you, he walked over and asked if you had seen the Yangcheng squad. You quickly said no and hurried away. After just 2 steps, you recalled the rules the chief examiner had laid out. Proctors do not initiate conversation with examinees, and his eyes just now were clearly off. Can the proctor have been bored off? And the other side, this proctor watched your departing direction, called out a walkie-talkie and gave a coordinate. It's a 4-person squad. They have banners. Come quickly. Keep searching the forest for the banner's whereabouts. Then you encountered another squad. Upon closer look, it was your old classmate Ju Tao's squad. Wang Kaichun stepped forward to ask about their situation. Ju Tao's expression was clearly panicked. Just now, the scene was incredibly brutal. You were curious, were they illegally evolved? I don't know if it was illegal evolution, but their beasts felt very strange. But their expressions all felt strange, similar to your beast. Rough and savage. You stiffened. Could their beasts also be ancient ferocious beasts? Just then, a girl spoke up to explain. Every member of the Yangcheng squad bears a mark. It looks like a ferocious beast, but each mark has an eye at its center. You were a bit surprised. The people of Yangcheng sure are tough. Students can even have tattoos. Everyone was speechless at that. Su King shot you a glare. This totem represents a mysterious organization. Their goal is to unseal ancient divine beasts and bring back the era of rampant beasts. After Su King spoke, you fell into thought. Could they have activated the anti-system too? Before you could figure it out, you parted ways with Ju Tang and the others. You set off to continue searching for the remaining flags. Outside the exam grounds, due to the high death rate, parents were wailing in a sea of tears. At that moment, the chief examiner assembled a team. Each of them wore a resolute expression. Their auras were formidable. This was the Flame Dragon Task Force. The chief examiner ordered them to enter the grounds, rescue the surviving students, and capture the Yangcheng squad. If they resist, kill without mercy. Inside the grounds, you passed by several battle sites. You couldn't help but suspect that few squads might still be alive. Wang Kachuan, usually timid, heard this. He clung tightly to your sleeve as you walked. Then you looked at them. You asked if you two want to back out. I'll respect your choice, because given the current situation, this is no longer just about passing or failing. The outcome could very well be death. But their eyes were both firm. We all have reasons to pass this exam. Zhu King leaned in. Why don't you ask me? Because I know you won't give up. I've seen your willpower firsthand. Zhu King looked at you. A slight smile curled at her lips. You know me that well. As you were still lost in that ambiguous atmosphere, several figures appeared in the distance. Their clothes still bore traces of fresh blood. They slowly worked toward you. At the lead was a tall, burly man. His entire body exuded an overwhelming pressure. Above his head circled a massive evil beast. Its eyes glowed with a blood-red light. Behind him stood a woman in a purple robe. Her spirit beast was a giant spider. Another young man wore armor. He lifted his head as if receiving a signal. Then a black bat flew in, conveying some message to the others. At that moment, you feigned shock. You shouted, "You must be the Yancheng squad. We finally meet." The woman in purple let out a cold laugh. "You sure run fast. But in the end, you can't escape death." You glared at them with anger. "They're the ones who slaughtered candidates during the exam." The armored youth crossed his arms and replied, "It was us." "So what?" You gritted your teeth. "You'll find out soon enough." Before you could finish, Zhu King suddenly struck. The nine-tailed fox flashed like a phantom. Its tail blade crackled with white lightning. In an instant, it tore off one of the bat's wings. Before the Yancheng squad could react, you immediately sent the rampant steel beast charging in. Seeing this, the armored youth summoned an ancient giant serpent. It clashed with the steel beast, but as the rampant steel beast charged, the serpent coiled around it instantly. The serpent began to constrict. The steel beast was forced to activate its combat talent. Its iron hide muscles turned as hard as steel. It fought with all its might against the serpent's death coil. At that moment, you called out to Zhu King. Zhu King understood your intent. She had the nine-tailed fox slash with its blade. The ancient giant serpent was cleaved in two. The entire scene fell silent. Wang Kaixuan was dumbfounded. These two have incredible teamwork. In a blink, they severely wounded two spirit beasts. The Yangcheng squad was stunned too. They had just met, and already two spirit beasts were down. The burly captain shouted, "Everyone, don't let your guard down. Focus fire and take out the nine-tailed fox first." The woman in purple let out a cold laugh. Then her pupils turned blood red. The venomous spider bared its sharp fangs, spitting out a torrent of spider silk, laced with potent corrosive properties. The air filled with white smoke all around. The corrosive fumes stun your eyes shut, treading your combat prowess down a notch. Seeing this, Zukiao ordered Lauren to root himself to the ground, spreading a canopy of spiritual shade above everyone's heads, terrifying the corrosive agents in the air. Is a support-type pre-seller. He finally proved his worth. Then the berserk-eating beast uprooted a tree, chopping the trunk with its claws in an instant, charged forward without a second thought, driving the trunk straight into the spider's spinneret. The venomous spider let out a mournful screech. The nine-collared fox followed up immediately, but the moment its tail blade struck down, it was blocked by the spider's fangs. The purple-robed woman sneered, "A fox's tail blade might not be tougher than a spider's fangs, you know." Then another bolt of lightning-wreathed flame peered behind the nine-collared fox and slashed down once more. In an instant, the spider's head was shattered. The Yangcheng squad was now terrified. Why wasn't this going as they'd expected? This team's strength was monstrous. Fall back. But as they turned, they saw a turtle blocking their path. The squad leader cursed, "Where the hell did this dead turtle come from? Hunt a stone eagle, smash it." A massive eagle soared overhead, diving straight at the blood-veined barbarian turtle. Its huge wings spread wide, claws extended. Just as the hunter's stone eagle was about to grab the blood-veined barbarian turtle, the turtle leaped up instantly, opened its massive maw and lunged at the eagle in reverse, pinning it firmly to the ground. No matter how the hunter's stone eagle struggled, it was useless. In a flash, the barbarian turtle bit through its neck. As the crowd gaped in shock, you furrowed your brow, sensing something was off. This Yancheng squad, though not weak in your eyes, was just a bunch of hotshots. They simply didn't have the strength to eliminate so many examinees, especially Kaiji's squad. They shouldn't have been taken down so easily. Outside the exam grounds, the Flame Dragon Task Force had already entered, yet several more names on the examinee list. Tegandar, the chief examiner, stared at the casualty list and was shocked to find the dead were from the Yangcheng squad. He thought the task force must have found them. The chief examiner breathed a sigh of relief. This slaughter was finally about to end. Then he picked up the radio. "Looks like you found the Yangcheng squad. But to his surprise, the Flame Dragon Task Force replied, "We haven't found them yet. The exam zone is too large, and they keep moving. We're still tracking them." Hearing this, the chief examiner broke out in a cold sweat. "If it wasn't you, then who eliminated the Yangcheng squad members?" This was more serious than he'd imagined. Since the Yangcheng squad wasn't the mastermind, then who was it? At that moment, another group of soldiers arrived in the distance. It was the garrison guarding Yangcheng. Having learned that the Bone Beast organization had appeared during the exam, higher-ups had sent troops to reinforce. The chief examiner was puzzled. "How did you get the news?" The battalion commander leading them said, "Someone tipped us off anonymously. We reported it up the chain, and the leadership took it seriously, so they sent us here immediately." The chief examiner couldn't help asking, "What about Yangcheng? Won't the city be left undefended?" The battalion commander realized with a start, could this be a diversion? Suddenly, a massive explosion roared from the direction of Yangcheng. "Damn it, we've been tricked." Seeing this, the chief examiner immediately began evacuating the parents outside the grounds. "Everyone, find a safe place to take cover." Inside the exam grounds, hearing the explosion, you also looked toward Yangcheng. Sensing something was wrong, you furrowed your brow and said to the group, whether or not they're the ones killing examinees, the priority now is to take out this squad first. At the same time, the woman in purple robes charged at Sukin with a dagger. Sukin was about to strike back, but you stepped in front of him, then kicked him flying over 10 meters away. Seeing this, the armored youth charged in as well. This time, you showed no mercy. Massive power gathered in your fist. You slammed it hard into the armored youth's face. He was blasted away like a missile. The crowd was terrified of you again. Is this still a beast tamer? Even a first street warrior might not have such strength. By then, the remaining team members had given up fighting. They fled in panic, but the blood-striped savage beast behind them charged like a war chariot, and caught up. Yet, even faster, was the Nankala tiger tail blade, flashing past. The fleeing members were instantly dismembered. The scene fell silent. Yangcheng's team was wiped out. The screen on the wristband showed only 2 teams left, Doors and Liu Yanri's team. According to the exam's admission standards, you've already been accepted. Wang Kaichuan rubbed his eyes. "We finally made it into a top-tier beast taming academy." Yuki Ayao stepped forward to thank you. No sooner had he spoken, several dark figures ran toward you from the forest. You recognized them immediately as the Flame Dragon Task Force. "You've passed the exam. Now, evacuate the testing grounds immediately. But don't return to Jinchen." You frowned in confusion. "Why? Did something happen?" The task force looked at you and said, "Jincheng is under attack. Wait until it's over. Once the city is safe, you can go back." Your mind went blank in an instant. You remembered your foster father was still lying in the hospital. You immediately summoned the Rampage Steel Beast and charged out of the testing grounds. Your only thought was to reach your foster parents as fast as possible. At that moment, you understood. This was all a unplanned operation. After learning about Jincheng, you instantly thought of your foster father still in the hospital. You didn't dare waste a second. You rode the Rampage Steel Beast and rushed toward the city. And the way you called your foster parents, but no one answered. Clearly, Jincheng was in complete chaos. As soon as you entered the city, you saw it was a complete mess. The normally docile spirit beasts now had red eyes and were attacking people everywhere. A few frenzied beasts lunged at you, but the Rampage Steel Beast took them down on the spot. When you reached your foster father's hospital, the main gate had already been lowered. Yet, the beasts outside kept slamming into the iron door. Soon, they smashed it open. Countless frenzied beasts flooded into the hospital. Screams and cries for help echoed from inside. Inside the ward, your foster mother was helping your foster father, Lin Qingfeng, try to leave. A figure flashed down the hallway and slammed into the opposite wall. The nurse, who had been evacuating people, was killed instantly. A massive rat climbed up the stairs. The 2-star spirit beast, the agile chestnut rat, fast and nimble. It arrived first. The patients and families on this floor were in utter despair. Your foster father quickly pulled your foster mother back. They scrambled under the bed. Agonized screams came from the neighboring rooms, along with the sound of bones being crushed. Just as your foster parents were trembling in fear, the ward door was suddenly blasted off. The rat had finally found them. Your foster father stepped forward. He was ready to sacrifice himself to save his wife. He pulled out a rusty short sword and smeared his blood on the blade. The sword instantly erupted with a powerful aura. Your foster mother begged him, "Lin Qingfeng, you can't do this now. You'll die." The agile chestnut rat looked at them with disdain, clearly intending to devour them both. Suddenly, a surge of immense power struck, blasting the rat flying. Your foster parents froze in shock. Had someone come to save them? But to their surprise, a far more terrifying beast appeared before them. Its crimson eyes were utterly unlike the panda beasts. It radiated a savage, ferocious aura. Just then, you suddenly poked your head out. "Mom, dead. Are you two alright?" Seeing you pop up out of nowhere, your parents were dumbfounded, but they still dared not make a rash move. only tremblingly pointing behind you. You instantly understood. Your adoptive parents were terrified. You spun around and kicked the stone iron beast. I told you not to be so fierce and disobedient, didn't I? That kick cowed the stone iron beast like a whipped cur. And the other side, your adoptive father's eyes nearly bulged out. Is this your familiar? Only then did they snap out of it. After all, your adoptive mother had told him everything. Once she got back from the exam hall, he knew you only had one culled familiar. But he never expected that a culled familiar could be this obedient. After all, beasts have wildness in their bones. If you suppress them too harshly, the chance of backlash only increases. You admitted it was your familiar, but said nothing more. Instead, you asked your adoptive father if he knew what was happening in Jingcheng. He shook his head. We don't know either. There was a sudden violent explosion in the city, and a flood of beasts charged out, attacking people. But I suspect it has to do with he trailed off, unable to finish. You couldn't dwell on it. Your top priority was clearing the beasts from the hospital, so you left the stone iron beast to guard this floor, then prepared to head downstairs and hold the hospital entrance. Your adoptive father quickly called you back. If you leave your familiar here, what will you fight with? You turned back with a smile, and immediately summoned the blood-marked barbarian ape. In an instant, thick blood energy filled the air. The barbarian ape's aura completely overshadowed the stone iron beast. Your adoptive parents nearly dropped their jaws. How can you possibly have two familiars? At the exam stage, even one 2-star transcendent beast is already impressive, but yours are each stronger than the last. You didn't explain further. You quickly slipped away. These were your trump cards, not to be revealed. If Du Chaohui was also searching for ways to revive ancient ferocious beasts, then you could very well become a target. So, you couldn't let anyone know your hand just yet. Soon, the beasts on the first floor were cleared. The surrounding patients looked at you with gratitude. Just then, the Flame Dragon Task Force arrived. Seeing the ground littered with beast corpses, they were stunned. Someone noticed you, the top scorer of the exam. A graceful female team member said, "Classmate, after you graduate from the Advanced Familiar Academy, how about joining our Flame Dragon Task Force?" Everyone around widened their eyes, full of envy. After all, that was a goal no one dared dream of. But you replied flatly, "What's the point of joining you? You couldn't even protect a single Jing Chen." She hadn't expected you to start with a rebuke, but from your expression she knew they had indeed failed this time. After all, there were far too many places under attack. The female member said solemnly, "I'm sorry for disappointing everyone. We will do everything in our power to protect Jing Chen." Then she led her team away quickly. You stayed to guard the hospital. Survivors in the streets began fleeing inside. As the hospital grew more crowded, you suddenly realized the gravity of the situation. Because to the beasts, so many people gathered here smelled like a giant cafeteria. They would follow the scent and come. Sure enough, more and more beasts charged over. The target clearly the hospital. Seeing hundreds of beasts, your heart pounded. This was nowhere near something one person could hold. Suddenly, a military squad rushed in, setting up guns and cannons at the hospital entrance. As the dense barrage of fire rang out, the low-level beasts were gradually wiped out. The squad leader, not far away, he ordered his men to intercept from different directions. Suddenly, a dark figure appeared in the sky. The next moment, the captain was snatched away. A long tongue instantly coiled the captain into its mouth. With a burst of blood, the captain was devoured in an instant. You immediately used the 10,000 lifespan arrow to check the info. Don't seek. Elite grade, 1 star. This was a true elite grade beast. Strength over 5,000. Speed over 2,000. The military squad opened fire wildly, but couldn't even scratch Don't Seek. Suddenly, a whistle rang out. A man in a black battle suit, wearing a mask, appeared atop Don't Seek. The bone beast sex attire, with a thunderous crush, Don't Seek merely leaped lightly and crushed several squad members to death. At the same time, you felt something stick to you, instantly cutting you off from the real world. All you saw was Don't Seek tearing into the military squad. Gritting your teeth, you formed hand seals, activated blood burn, and charged at Don't Seek. But it was utterly useless. The masked man looked down and said, "You're interesting. Too bad your strength is far too weak." Just as Don't Seek was about to drag you into its maw, a terrifying sword aura slashed through. Don't Seek's tongue was shredded like paper. You stared in shock at your savior. It was your foster father, Lin Qingfeng. What the hell? Why did your foster father possess such overwhelming power? Every strike he made was fierce and domineering, relentlessly hacking at Don't Seek. Don't Seek was forced back step by step, its body soon covered in wounds. You were dumbfounded. An elite-grade beast, comparable to a military centurion in strength, was so helpless before your foster father. Even the masked man recoiled in shock, frantically ordering Don't Seek to counterattack. At the same time, he stared at you darkly. "Kid, you think I only have one beast?" In an instant, he summoned another, smaller beast, a transcendent 3-star evolved form, the Flame Toadlet. The Toadlet looked disdainfully at Mangdui. Mangdui instantly got angry. We're both aquatic, who are you looking down on? Then it took out all the frustration from Don't See, and the flying toadlet. With a few smooth combos, the flying toadlet was flipped over, and its belly was slashed open. The masked men stared at you in fear. Transcendent 2-star defeating a transcendent 3-star? How is that possible? The next second, Mangdui had already closed in on him. When he tried to summon Don't Seek to save him, he realized Don't Seek had already been dismembered by that warrior. Mangdui slapped him flying with one blow. All the bones in his body were shattered, leaving him barely alive. You deliberately spared him, intending to find out why the Bone Beast sect attacked Jing Chen. The masked man collapsed to the ground, laughing wildly. You think you've won? The real horror is yet to come. Everyone will become sacrifices for the Bone Beast's descent. With a burst of destructive energy, a scorching wave surged toward you. He had directly triggered an explosion talisman. A sword aura shot into the sky, instantly overwhelming the white light. After the explosion, the area was leveled. Blood seeped from the corner of your foster father's mouth. You grew worried about his condition, but he just smiled. This explosion can't hurt me. You couldn't figure out this old man anymore. He was supposed to be a labor mining in the demon suppression army, so why had he suddenly become such a powerful warrior? Before you could ask, the ground began to tremble violently. Something massive seemed to be churning beneath the earth. Recalling what the masked man had said, could a bone beast really be awakening? Would everyone become sacrifices? At the same time, suddenly, the city's alarms blared. Alert! Alert! A catastrophic beast disaster has appeared in Jingcheng. All citizens take shelter at home and await the disaster's resolution. What? A catastrophic beast? Those in all of Linjin Prefecture who could oppose it could be counted on one hand. Was Jingcheng truly doomed? The expression on your foster father's face turned grave. Stay at the hospital and protect your mother. I'll go check over there. With that, his figure vanished in an instant. No choice. You could only stand guard at the hospital entrance. Moments later, a massive shadow rose from the city. It was an ancient towering tree. Its trunk was covered with the people of Jiang City. Their faces were deathly pale, their bodies withered. Before you could recover from the shock, a group of enforcement officers rushed over. They urged you to head to the nearest shelter, but when you turned back, a terrifying sword shadow shot into the sky, colliding with a massive celestial tier ancient tree. That was Dad's sword. Was he really going to fight a celestial tier beast? Your mother simply nodded. Your father never changes his mind once it's made. We just need to hide in the shelter. Your father and the army will handle the rest. You felt your foster mother knew something, but you couldn't interfere in a battle of this level. To better protect her from now on, you decided to enter the Ancient Realm training ground to boost your strength. You opened the panel and selected the 2-star Ancient Realm mission, Yaoying Wolves. Kill 30 Yaoying Wolves. Then you summoned 2 spirit beasts. Mangdui led the way, while Shitai guarded you from behind. Yaoying Wolves fought as a pack. To train Shitai, you had him fight 7 or 8 Yaoying Wolves alone. Mangdui stood by, watching. After killing the 15th, Shitai collapsed from exhaustion. Mangdui then finished off the remaining Yaoying Wolves. Mission complete. Not only did you gain ancestral awakening chances, but you also discovered with surprise that the attribute rewards for both spirit beasts were independent. Your strength increased by 10 points, reaching an impressive 160 points, stronger than most ordinary 2-star spirit beasts. Having cleared the 2-star ancient ship, the training ground unlocked a higher difficulty, Legend. Legend difficulty rewards legendary ancestral awakening items. These were essential for upgrading Mangdui. The dungeon also contained talent skills and equipment. Gritting your teeth, you spent 1 million to buy an entry ticket. As soon as you entered the dungeon, you found yourself in a scorching desert, and 2 quests appeared before you. Quest 1, kill 50 transcendent 2-star rock crystal scorpions. Quest 2, kill the elite rock crystal scorpion queen. Reward, random rock crystal equipment. After searching, you found the scorpion swarm. In no time, Mangdui killed 60 scorpions. The enraged scorpion queen came looking for you. In an instant, she locked onto you. Even with Mangdui using Blood Moon, she was thrown aside in a flash. Damn it. No wonder killing 50 scorpions felt so easy. The real challenge was Quest 2. Then a system prompt sounded. Elite beast detected. Enable mercenary beasts. You had no time to read the details. You clicked enable immediately. This feature let you use the spirit beasts you'd killed in the ancient realm as your fighters. The number of mercenary beasts equaled the number of spirit beasts you'd slain. Seeing thousands of saber-toothed tigers and fawn beasts on the panel, killing the rock crystal scorpion queen seemed easy. But then you realized this damn system was a scam. Summoning mercenary beasts cost money. One summon cost 1 million, and they only fought for 10 minutes. If a mercenary beast died, the next one would take its place. In other words, as long as you had enough spirit beasts, and they died fast enough, you could deploy all mercenary beasts within 10 minutes. For war of attrition. Without hesitation, you used the attrition tactic. You spent 3 million to summon 3 saber-toothed tigers at once for chip damage. After losing over 1,000 saber-toothed tigers, the Rock Crystal Scorpion Queen was finally worn down by Mangui and Chitai. They seized the chance to attack quickly. Minutes later, the mission was complete. Both spirit beasts' attributes increased slightly. Your strength also reached 180 points, completely surpassed a second-tier warrior. At the same time, you found a pre-order skill book, Blazing Rock Armor Defense Skill, suitable for pre-orders with carapaces on their bodies. It confused the flames within the body with a carapace, transforming into a layer of blazing rock armor, greatly enhancing your own defense, and comes with a certain burning attack effect. Seeing this, you couldn't help but get excited. Isn't this tailor-made for the barbarian turtle? Then you looked at the reward for task 2, Longevity Scorpion Tail Blade. This is a weapon transformed from the Scorpion Queen's tail, can only be worn by pre-orders. After thinking for a moment, you tossed it to the barbarian turtle again. Then you challenged the legendary Gujai once more. Unexpectedly, after a bout of battle, the other rewards hadn't changed. The random equipment for task 2 was still the scorpion tail. This time, you tossed the equipment to the Iron Beast. After exiting Gujai, you heard the sound of arguing. You saw your foster mother angrily pointing ahead. Why won't you give us supplies? The person opposite was a staff member of the logistics department in Jingcheng. And it was your ex-girlfriend, Liu Ruyan. Blame it on your son, Lan Tencheng. Even if you torque until you're blue in the face today, there's no way I'm giving you the supplies. This kind of bottom-feeding trash. His words stirred up dissatisfaction among the onlookers, but everyone dared not speak out. After all, the logistics department controlled the supplies. You saw Liu Ruyan hand a pile of supplies to her mother. The woman immediately shot a smug look at your foster mother. My daughter is so worry-free. She was handpicked by the logistics department before she even graduated. Everyone cast envious glances. Someone even flattered, she's truly a child of destiny. You'll be living a life of ease for the rest of your days. Your foster mother clenched her fists in anger. She directly snatched the supplies and stuffed them into her bag. The burly man distributing supplies immediately grabbed your foster mother's hand. Bai Lily also raised her hand to slap your foster mother. At that moment, you stepped in front of your foster mother. Liu Ruyan was about to speak up to teach you a lesson, but suddenly saw it was you, Lan Tencheng. You're not dead. Her voice turned shrill with fear. Although he was eliminated early in the big exam, he also knew this big exam was like a meat grinder, so he thought you were surely dead, but he never expected you were still alive. Without a word, you slapped Liu Ruyan and knocked her down. The burly man Zhao Shengjing saw this, instantly erupted with a powerful aura. The crowd was forced back by the pressure. He's actually a third-tier strength-type warrior. In Jincheng's 3rd district, that's practically top tier. I think this mother and son are in for it, the crowd murmured. Zhao Shengjing's voice rang out, I'll give you a chance. Leave the shelter and I'll spare your lives. Otherwise, you'll die right here. You are amused. Who do you think you are? The shelter was built by the nation. The supplies were arranged by the nation. You're just a supply distributor, acting like a bully. Did you build this shelter yourself? Liu Ruyan saw how tough you were and gloated. Lan Tencheng is about to be in big trouble. Sure enough, Zhao Shengjing said nothing. He just threw a punch. You stepped back half a step and then stood firm. The opponent finally realized. I was wondering why you were so cocky. Turns out you're a second-tier warrior. Liu Ruyan showed a hint of surprise. Isn't he a second-tier pre-order master? Just as she was about to tell Zhao Shengjing this information, he had already struck again. This punch came at you with a golden light. The enforcement department onlookers couldn't sit still. Zhao Shengjing, why are you using skills on a big exam student? A green light flashed in your eyes. A pre-order space appeared behind you. The fierce barbarian turtle stepped out. Its tail had grown. A massive scorpion tail, activated with blazing rock armor. The opponent's punch landed on the barbarian turtle's shell. Everyone thought the turtle was done for, but Zhao Shengjing let out a blood-curdling scream. His hand was burned, skin peeling off. Before he could react, the massive scorpion tail swung directly, sending him flying. He barely stood up. The sharp scorpion tail was already hovering before his face. His chest was instantly burned through. Now he dared not make a move. The entire scene fell silent. The entire venue fell silent. This examinee actually toyed with a tier 3 warrior. In truth, you were the most shocked of all. After being tempered in the Gojai training ground, you suddenly realized tier 3 warriors were truly pathetic. Under the overwhelming pressure, Zhao Shengjing quickly admitted his mistake. I was wrong. I won't dare do it again. You had Mangui press a fiber against his chest. What did you do wrong? At that moment, you had to make him confess his crimes. Otherwise, beating up logistics staff like this, if truly pursued, would be a huge problem. Zhao Shengjing laid out the reasons for his mistake, one by one. I shouldn't have abused my authority to treat you differently. And you pressed on. I shouldn't have listened to Liu Ruyan and her daughter, joining them to bully you. This whole conflict started because of me. Only then were you satisfied. You took the supplies and returned to your spot. Everyone watched you in silence. At that moment, you became the god of the shelter. Suddenly, the shelter door was knocked on. Just as everyone's hearts were in their throats, you braced yourself and opened the door. Outside stood an old acquaintance of yours, Wang Kaichuan and Yukiyo, followed by some ordinary people. The moment he saw you, Wang Kaichuan was also thrilled. At the same time, he brought you an unexpected piece of news. It turned out the mole in the exam was a proctor. After being bribed by Gu Society, he secretly eliminated many teams. Then he pinned all the blame on the Yangsheng team. You immediately grasped the severity. It seemed Gu Society had been planning for a long time. Both the Yangsheng team and the bribed proctor were key links in their scheme. Wang Kaichuan's scalp tingled too. Then right now, around us, could there be Gu Society people, like in this shelter? You weren't sure either, but since they had plotted for so long, it couldn't just be a few open rebels. At that moment, you looked at Yukiyo with some doubt. You seemed to have transferred to Imperial Veterinary Medicine 10 years ago. Yukiyo blushed and lowered her head. My dad moved to Jingcheng for work. You wanted to press Mei Cheng further, but Wang Kaichuan cut you off. Brother Lan, how can you suspect Kiyo? We're all classmates who know each other well. Besides, she's timid and shy. How could she be from Gu Society? You gave Yukiyo a deep look, then smiled and said, just suddenly remembered to ask. But why are you defending her so much? Could it be you too? Wang Kaichuan's face turned beet red. He quickly explained, no, nothing like that. Then he dragged Yukiyo off to get supplies. Watching the retreating fighters, you fell into deep thought. Yukiyo seemed weak and timid on the surface, with no connection to Gu Society members. But that towering tree demon and Yukiyo's familiar shared the same origin. Though the two familiars were at different levels, evolution had its patterns. Of course, there was no solid evidence yet. You tucked this matter away in your mind. At this moment, the conflict between the military and ancient beasts had reached a fever pitch. No one knew how much longer the battle outside would last. So, to boost your strength as much as possible, you decided to use the last legendary ticket in the Bujie training ground. Though you had cleared the first legendary Gujie, this time no new dungeon appeared, but the description of the legendary Gujie had changed. Legendary, Du Tancheng Yuan Quest. Slay the Temple Guardian, Du Tancheng Yuan. Reward, 1 drop of transcendent 2-star ancestral blood. Legendary, another Du Tancheng Yuan to kill. Seeing this, you were instantly thrilled. This was a pre-sale reward from the Gujie training ground. Definitely different from what you could buy outside. Then you read the description of Du Tancheng Yuan. Du Tancheng Yuan, level unknown. Traits, majestic stature, height over 100 jang, muscle lines carved like sculptures. Weapon, Du Tan Divine Staff, forged from primordial divine iron, its shaft flowing with golden luster, containing boundless power. You were instantly fired up. This is very similar to the mythological image you were familiar with in your past life. Could it be the same one? With this pre-sale, topping the heavenly ranking should be a breeze. At the same time, the small text below deeply caught your attention. The reward for legend difficulty is a contracted beast. It doesn't take up a pre-seller's quota. You see, you can only contract a third beast after reaching 500 spirit. If you clear the dungeon, you'll be the first, second-ranked Jade Hand to contract 3 beasts in history. In a critical moment, it'll be your strongest trump card. With that thought, you directly chose to enter the dungeon. As soon as you entered, you found yourself on a forest path. Ahead lay an ancient road paved with blue stone. Seeing the blue stone slabs, you panicked. How could a savage beast have laid such smooth stone? And these slabs show signs of construction. Could there be someone in this ancient training ground? At the same time, the mission panel popped up. It displayed a backstory about the heaven-defying Saint Ape. After reading it, you were stunned. People from ancient times could be this strong. Even a creature as powerful as the heaven-defying Saint Ape could be suppressed. Weren't the gods said to be incredibly weak during the era of the beast rampage? Why is it different from what you imagined? It seems humanity has some misconceptions about history. Then you stepped onto the ancient road and entered a forest. After crossing the forest, you entered a building. Inside, you immediately spotted a statue. The statue held a staff in its hand, just like the heaven-defying Saint Ape from the 10,000-year sword. But its feet were bound by thick iron chains. You couldn't help but marvel at how well made the statue was. It looked almost real. No sooner had he spoken, the statue's eyes turned gold. The stone skin on its body quickly peeled off. Moments later, its true form was revealed. It was actually a living heaven-defying Saint Ape. The moment it awoke, it swung its staff straight at you. The barbarian turtle reacted swiftly, immediately shielding you behind itself. With a deafening crush, the barbarian turtle spat out a mouthful of blood, but it managed to block the attack. The scorching heat from its blazing armor forced the Saint Ape back. Then the stone iron beast charged in. Its iron fists rained down furiously on the heaven-defying Saint Ape. But with a single swing of its staff, the Saint Ape sent the stone iron beast flying. The barbarian turtle immediately followed up, charging in with a tackle. throwing the saint ape off balance. It crashed to the ground, then the turtle slammed down with a mounting crushing drop. The saint ape tried to dodge, but the iron chains restricted its movement. You decided right then to activate totem fusion for the first time. You pressed your palms together, and began establishing a connection with the barbarian turtle. As its appearance, battle habits, and more flooded your mind, your skin and shell began to assimilate. The deeper your meditation, the more of the barbarian turtle's attributes you gained. Assimilation level reached ultimate rating. You gained 50% of the blood vein barbarian turtle's base stats. You gained 30% of its defense attribute. You can now use its basic skills. As you mimicked the barbarian turtle's roar, your rating reached advanced. You gained 80% of its stats and 50% of its defense. Your strength skyrocketed from 200 to 800 points, far surpassing most 2-star strength type contracted beasts. As Blood Boil activated on you, your strength instantly surged to 2,400 points. You began launching false charges at the Saint Ape. As two barbarian turtles fought the Saint Ape, the stone iron beast somehow found a pile of scrap metal and started devouring it frantically. Once it went berserk, it joined the battle. You seized the opportunity and bit down hard on the heaven-defying Saint Ape's wrist. As the Saint Ape winced in pain, it began pounding on you furiously, but you endured the pain and snatched the staff from its hand. Dazed and dizzy, you were sent flying to the side. Just then totem fusion ended. You reverted to human form, bruised and battered. That was close, you nearly got killed on the spot. If you died, the challenge would be an instant failure. Congratulations on completing advanced rating. Totem fusion retains 10% of the blood vein barbarian turtle's base stats. Strength plus 140, speed plus 16, spirit plus 10, endurance plus 30. Holy crap, you knew totem fusion would retain stats, but you never expected it to keep this much. This power instantly surged to 430. It's already approaching a 3rd rank warrior. And the other side, without his staff, St. Yuan's combat power plummeted. Moments later, the barbarian tortoise seized the chance with its scorpion tail, injecting a massive amount of fire poison into him. Soon after, Dutan St. Yuan crashed to the ground, dropping a pile of various basic attributes. At the same time, a system prompt rang out. Congratulations, you have slain Dutan St. Yuan 1/10,000. Reward, Transcendent 2-star, Atavistic Leaf, 1 drop of Legendary and 1 Dutan St. Yuan Cub. Plus, attribute boosts for you and your pet. Bonus, Ancient Realm Secret Realm Exploration plus 1%. Achievement unlocked, Heaven and Earth Dharma. Reward, Ancient Imperial Braid Dutan Divine Staff Skill Book. Seeing such a flood of information, you began to feel excited. Only now did you realize the true value of the Gojai Training Ground. A mere 1% exploration, granted a warrior skill book, and an Ancient Earth Grade 1 at that. No weaker than current Earth Grade, if not stronger. Then you started inspecting the Transcendent 1-star Duchan St. Yuan. Bloodline, 100% Yuan Du grade. Mastery, Basic Staff Technique. Weapon, Refined Iron Staff. Though it hasn't yet displayed the power of the Duchan Divine Staff, it's already comparable to a profound grade artifact. Then its 4 attributes appeared before you. You felt a bit dazed looking at them. Transcendent 1-star, and its power already exceeds 200. This monkey is absurdly overpowered. Like King suppressed his excitement, ready to upgrade St. Yuan's star rank. Since you happen to have several bottles of Transcendent 1-star, Atavistic Leaf, but St. Yuan needed 5 bottles, and 6 for rapid atavism, so you directly used 6 bottles of Atavistic Leaf. Moments later, a flash of light passed, and St. Yuan had successfully undergone atavism. Duchan St. Yuan, rank Transcendent, 2-star, bloodline 100% ancient grade. Traits, humanoid form, tall and robust, about 3 Zhanian height, with more developed muscles, rougher, broader lines, exuding even greater power. It had begun to emanate the aura of a demon lord. Staff mastery, ever-changing. Weapon, Refined Iron Staff. Innate skill, Heaven and Earth Dharma. Normal size equal to an adult human. When using Heaven and Earth Dharma, it can grow to 3 Zhang tall, with all stats multiplied by 5. Then its 4 attributes appeared before you. Your eyes nearly popped out. Just entering Transcendent 2-star, and its power already exceeds 1,000, and if it uses Heaven and Earth Dharma, it can directly break through 5,000. Truly, when a monkey learns martial arts, not even a god can stop it. It instantly became your strongest pet. As you opened your eyes in reality, you found only a few minutes had passed outside. Then you went to find your foster mother, telling her you wanted to go out and see. But before you could finish, she flatly refused. You're too young, with no experience. Your strength can't control the situation at all. Wang Kaichuan also came over. Brother Lan, out there, even 4th rank cultivators risk falling. 2nd rank beast tamers like us can't hold our ground. Yukiyur also tried to persuade you from the side, but your mind was made up. Your foster father was still out there. Though you couldn't do much to help, you definitely wouldn't cower here. Other tamers contract ordinary pets, but you directly contracted Sun Wukong. He's publicly known as the ancient great fiend Du Chan Saint Yuan, yet he's extremely similar to Sun Wukong. So the first thing you did after contracting him was to evolve him to Transcendent 2-star, then you prepared to take him and wreak havoc. But your foster mother in the shelter strongly opposed it. Every citizen has a duty, to the nation's rise or fall. Everyone fights to grow stronger through the great exam. Isn't it all to fight for humanity's survival? These words moved the Enforcement Division members. One of them, who thought highly of you, said you could go out and help. He guaranteed your mother's absolute safety in the shelter. You saw sincerity and respect in his eyes. Then you left Blood Pattern Mandui behind in the shelter to care for your foster mother, and resolutely set off for the stricken Jiang city. Wang Kaichuan followed closely behind. No sooner had they emerged from the shelter than you saw the heavenly medicine vine and its waist-binding tendrils in the city center, blood red all over. Its branches were hung with drained citizens. Wang Kaichuan was utterly shocked. The official report said 70,000 victims, but the number on that tree alone far exceeded it. No wonder they said the heavenly medicine vine and ancient beasts were unstoppable. Suddenly, movement in the distance caught your attention. You saw several white-robed figures herding a crowd of citizens into an open space. The waist-binding branches immediately lashed out, draining everyone's blood in an instant. Your teeth ground in fury. So this was the evil ancient beast cult. You followed them quietly, planning to rescue the civilians when the chance came. And away, Yellow Hair asked the leading youth, Brother Wank, can we really succeed this time? The key to reviving the ancient beast is awakening its ferocious bloodline. The more sacrifices, the higher the chance of awakening it. The youth flashed a cruel smile. They burst into a house and drove all the ordinary people inside out. Anyone who resisted was killed on the spot. While a fat cult member was committing atrocities in another room, you had Jitai Beast ambush and finish him off. The leading youth noticed and charged over, his gauntlets glowing. This was a fist master, a class only 4th tier warriors could unlock. He immediately struck at Jitai Beast, but Jitai Beast had already slipped away. What met the fist master instead was a club swung straight at his face. The youth barely blocked the attack. When he saw his opponent's face, his heart sank, for his foe was a monkey, with a furry face and a thunder god mouth, human-like in attire, yet it exuded the savage aura of an ancient beast. He was baffled, but still tested Chen Yuan with an attack. Chen Yuan dodged like a phantom, while countering with tricky strikes from his staff. Soon, the youth was beaten senseless. Then Chen Yuan found an opening and smashed the youth's wrist. His defense cracked badly. The next second, the iron staff came down like a hammer. The youth died on the spot. The other cult members panicked. This man was one of the operation's main leaders. They never expected him to be killed here. The rest tried to flee, but were intercepted by Shitai Beast and Chen Yuan. After interrogation, you learn that the ancient beast cult had sent 7 squads, specifically to capture people and feed them to the vine, thus awakening the beast's bloodline. When you heard they needed at least 300,000 sacrifices, you and Wang Kaichuan gasped in shock. They intended to blood sacrifice the entire Jingcheng. Enraged, you eliminated all remaining cult members. After calming the civilians, you prepared to rescue others elsewhere, but you hadn't gone far when you ran into teachers from other schools and wealthy merchants. You immediately asked about the city's situation. It turned out the rampaging beasts had just been contained, but the cult was still luring citizens in 4 districts. You wanted to join them in defending Jingcheng, but they flatly refused. I won't oppose you contributing in the future, but for now, the enemy is beyond your strength. A female warrior teacher comforted you. The other teachers also urged you to stay back. Suddenly, screams erupted nearby. The teachers rushed toward the sound. You followed at a distance. In a collapsed residential area, a crowd was being herded forward by 3 demon wolves. Controlling the wolves, he is a wanted master beast tamer. His fierce-looking underlings all called him that. Even school teachers dared to meddle. He dismissed the teachers entirely. Protecting Jingcheng is our duty. Beast tamer Zhang Hequan wore a grave expression. What a coincidence. Destroying Jingcheng is ours too. No sooner had he spoken, the 3 demon wolves closed in on Zhang Hequan's position. The pressure on him skyrocketed. The other 2 teachers stepped in to share the burden, but Brother Wolf merely waved his hand, and 2 transcendent 3-star demon wolves charged at them. The female warrior immediately used her spear technique to halt them, but the wolves were too fast. It bit down on the spear shaft and yanked him to the ground. Then its claws stabbed straight for his eyes. At the critical moment, the elementalist was also locked in battle with the demon wolf. Zhang Hequan was about to help. Behind Brother Wolf, the pre-sale space materialized again. Then a massive wolf had emerged from within. An overwhelming pressure suffocated everyone. The moment it appeared, it lunged straight at the 2 spirit beasts. One claw pinned the bull demon underfoot. Another bite crushed half the giant ant's body. Zhang Hequan was stunned. The elite-level Kangyan war wolf. Its strength could crush any class on the same street. The Bone Beast Society members cheered wildly. On the other side, the female teacher Yu Linfei could no longer hold on. Cracks appeared on her spear. Just then, a roar came from behind. A lazy pig charged straight at the demon wolf, its tiny body round the demon wolf. Flying into a tree, Yu Linfei quickly got up. Looking back, she saw it was Yuan Wang Kaichuan. In that instant, the demon wolf caught him. With his back exposed, its claws tore straight through Yu Linfei's armor. Just as the demon wolf moved to finish her off, a crimson scorpion tail lashed out. Its tip pierced cunningly into the demon wolf's eye. At the same time, a surge of flames poured in. The demon wolf collapsed on the spot, barely alive. Everyone's gaze was drawn to the Iron Beast's scorpion tail. Transcendent 2-star instantly killed Transcendent 3-star. Zheng Heikun could hardly believe it. He knew your talent was extraordinary, but because of your family's poor circumstances, you had bought a discarded pet. Yet this pet was ridiculously strong. Brother Wolf's heart was bleeding. Though he was a 4th-tier beast tamer, raising a Transcendent 3-star demon wolf still consumed a lot of resources. Besides, that was his reserve quasi-elite spirit beast. With his command, the other Bone Beast Society members all charged at you and Wang Kaichuan. Yu Linfei, even with a broken arm, stood in front of you both. Teacher, lend me your weapon system. Learn the skill, Staff of Heaven's Wrath. You took the spear from his hand. Now this warrior skill book finally came in handy. Learning complete, reached first layer grade perfection. Vast staff technique experience and memories merged into your mind. Your blood energy erupted. In a few exchanges, you beat them bloody. The Bone Beast Society members were almost all warriors, but their weapons and skills were crude, so they were no match for you. The remaining few were terrified. Just then, a warrior wielding a giant axe stepped forward. He towered over ordinary men. The giant axe in his hand was clearly no ordinary weapon. As he appeared, he instantly killed Teacher Liu, who stood in front. The others' faces turned pale. Teacher Liu and Zheng Heikun were the team's pillars. From now on, they were doomed. Run, don't look back. Leave this to us. Yu Linfei's face was pale. She turned and shouted, "We teachers are still here. How could we let students risk their lives?" Your nose tingled with emotion. The Bone Beast Society offered their own as fodder to the ancient tree, yet the teachers were willing to give their lives to protect their students. Thank you for wanting to protect me, but we are not hothouse flowers. Now you prepared to unleash your full strength. Don't worry, Brother Lun just wiped out a squad all by himself. Wang Kaichuan leaned close to Yu Linfei and whispered, "Brother Wolf saw you approaching," and sneered. He ordered the Jewel Axe warrior to attack you. You channeled all your strength into your waist. The iron staff in your hand shot out like lightning. The force of the impact was so great that the warrior's axe was knocked from his grip. You seized the chance and struck his wrist. His right hand was blown apart. The agony made him lose focus. You turned the spear tip forward and pierced straight through the warrior. The entire scene fell silent. A newly graduated beast tamer had actually killed a 3rd-tier warrior. But only you knew. 450 points of strength couldn't directly shake him. But your skill proficiency is very high. When power is perfectly released, it deals double the damage. That's how you managed to kill him in such a short time. Watching his own team fall one by one, Brother Wolf could no longer sit still. Brat, you're asking for death. In an instant, the fly war wolf turned and charged at you. Behind you, the pre-sale space suddenly opened. A massive staff toppled out directly, forcing the werewolf back in the spot. At the same time, a golden beast stepped out. Everyone was stunned. What kind of spirit beast is this? Why does it give such a creepy feeling? Just a mere transcendent 2-star spirit beast. Werewolf, go eat it. Brother Wolf furrowed his brow slightly. Cheng Yuan disdainfully beckoned to the werewolf. The werewolf bared its fangs and lunged fiercely. Cheng Yuan leaped high into the air, raising the iron staff above his head. Not only did he dodge the werewolf's massive jaws, but the staff also came crashing down toward its head. The werewolf turned and bit back, its mouth meeting the iron staff in a close encounter. In an instant, 2 of its fangs snapped off. Everyone was dumbfounded. Transcendent 2-star, and it can match an elite-level spirit beast. With a thought from you, Cheng Yuan immediately roared at the sky. The golden light on its body intensified, and its size swelled to 3 zhang. Its horror surged fivefold. The Dharma aspect of heaven and earth was unleashed. The entire crowd was terrified, because even among heaven-ranked spirit beasts, none had ever been seen that could change size to boost power. This beast was likely a rare variant. Brother Wolf gritted his teeth inwardly. This guy's spirit beast, why does it always mutate in the right direction? Could he have mastered some mutation secret? He then ordered the werewolf to capture it alive, and taking him back for research. But the werewolf couldn't subdue Cheng Yuan. In the contrary, Cheng Yuan grew fiercer the longer the fight went on. After the Dharma aspect, all its attributes were greatly enhanced. After some time of attrition, the fly werewolf showed a moment of weakness. Cheng Yuan seized the opportunity, and with a staff strike, knocked the werewolf down. At the same time, runes began to glow on the staff's surface. The staff grew larger and slender, and with the force of a world-ending threat, it slammed down on the werewolf. The werewolf's body was torn apart on impact. Everyone around felt their scalps tingle. The Transcendent 2-star actually killed an elite-level mutant. There's never been anything this absurd in history. Brother Wolf's face twisted in extreme agony. He collapsed to the ground. Deng Haquan and the others rushed over quickly to subdue Brother Wolf. Suddenly, a thunderous roar echoed across the sky. Everyone immediately looked up. They saw a colossal sword aura piercing the heavens, slamming into the tree demon's trunk like a nuclear weapon. Could this be a celestial-level sword Dao Grandmaster? Jiang City might finally be saved. Yu Lingfei and the others were ecstatic. Their mouths hung open, stunned. That's clearly my foster father's sword aura. Suddenly, the tree demon let out a low cry. The entire city of Jian began to tremble violently. Countless branches coiled around Lin Qingfeng, forming a crimson steel peak that blotted out the sky. But Lin Qingfeng merely took a step forward, and the crimson steel peak shattered instantly. You watched, your blood boiling. Dad is really strong. At the same time, the sword aura in Lin Qingfeng's hand turned pure white. Space itself grew increasingly unstable. Feeling the fatal threat, the tree demon immediately fought back with all its might. But wherever the sword aura passed, space was torn apart. The tree demon tried to resist, yet the moment its branches touched the aura, they turned to dust. The sky seemed to rain down a bloody downpour. With a roar from Lin Qingfeng, he charged at the tree demon, carrying endless sword intent. A thunderous boom rang out. The tree demon was cleaved in two. The shockwave leveled everything around it. The people of Jiang City saw the long-lost sky. Lin Qingfeng, you betrayed the ancient Longevity Society. The Grand Elder won't let you off. At that moment, someone from the ancient Longevity Society shouted in fury. Hearing those words, you froze in the spot. Your mind went completely blank. Everyone else called your foster father Lin Deu, but you knew his real name was Lin Qingfeng. But what does it mean to betray the ancient beast sect? You look at your foster father with a complicated gaze. Though far apart, he seems to sense your stare, and gives a bitter smile. Then, after coughing up several mouthfuls of blood, he vanishes in the spot. You have a feeling, this might be the last time you see your foster father. The beast hunters begin to retreat. The disaster subsides. The military and enforcement divisions start rescuing civilians. But you head straight back to the shelter, looking for your foster mother, demanding to know what happened to your foster father. 2.4. Your foster mother reveals a shocking secret. She is the daughter of Linjing Prefecture's top official, wielding status and resources others can only dream of. Yet she scorns the adulation of common folk, and instead sets her sights on you, a poor, young man. Not only did she sit with you on the way to school, but she even leaned close to your Deokt, asking about a secret buried deep in your heart. After the ancient beast sect retreats and the disaster subsides, you immediately go to find your foster mother, asking about your foster father Lin Qingfeng's true identity. Unexpectedly, she reveals a shocking secret. This matter is tied to your own origins. Back then, your mother, Jia Yan, was a renowned beauty, and became entangled in love and hate with Lin Qingfeng and Long Zhenbang. Though she ultimately married Long Zhenbang and gave birth to you, when you and your mother were captured by the ancient beast sect, it was Lin Qingfeng who acted first. He joined the sect to save you both. But something happened after that. One night, he appeared at my doorstep, holding you in his arms. He once said, though, that your birth mother might still be alive. You feel no real attachment to your birth parents, only deep bonds with your foster parents. Yet hearing that your birth mother might be imprisoned by the beast hunters, you still feel an inexplicable urge. Then your foster mother hands you a note. On it is the contact info of Lin Qingfeng's friend, who can look after you a bit. From now on, you'll have to live on your own. You ask your foster mother to come with you, but she just shakes her head. I'll wait here for your father to return. Otherwise, he'll worry. Just as you say you're worried for her safety, your foster mother gathers a spark of energy at her fingertip, and with a light slash, cut straight through the wall. Watching the house collapse, you're stunned, but then she pulls you into a hug. There's much you don't understand yet. Since they didn't abandon you on purpose, I had no choice but to hide my strength. Even, Long Zhenbang may not be as wicked as you think. I wanted you to live as an ordinary person, but many have already noticed your uniqueness, so you must work this path. Once you're in this game, you have to give it your all, to break through the haze in your heart. Your foster mother's power astounds you, but what is this game she speaks of? Could even a powerhouse like her not be able to protect you? It seemed. Indeed, you need to see the world beyond. A few days later, the school holds a graduation ceremony. Many stayed behind in the exam district, luckily avoiding Jiang City's disaster. Meanwhile, the principal announces that the advancement exam quotas have been expanded, directly increased to 30. The entire student body erupts in excitement. After all, in previous years, even all three middle schools combined didn't have this many. Hearing this, you suddenly remember something. You look around, then silently lower your head. Wang Kexuan beside you also notices something off. Because exactly 30 people survived the exam. The survival rate is the lowest in years. No wonder the policy is so lenient. Just as he's about to voice this discovery, you stop him in time. After all, everyone is immersed in joy. This might be exactly what the higher-ups intended. After the ceremony, you and Wang Kaichuan are called to the principal's office. As you enter, the principal commends your actions. After all, you two accept Brother Wolf's sacrificial ritual. Then, the principal looks at you solemnly. Make sure you bury the fact that you killed the elite of the ancient beast society deep in your gut. Keep it buried deep in your gut. Otherwise, once we're out, you'll face their retaliation. Then the two of you were led into a secret passage. Inside, there was actually a deep tunnel. This turned out to be the school's underground treasury. It was stocked with quite a few beast-taming skill books and equipment. Wang Kaichuan's eyes lit up immediately. Are all these for us? The principal felt like hitting someone when he heard that. You're overthinking it. The school isn't as rich as your family. You two can each pick one item. After a dazzling selection process, Wang Kaichuan grabbed an Earth Attribute Presale skill book, but you picked a staff made of some unknown material. After all, when you later transcend into the sacred realm, you'd need a weapon that fits your hand. The principal's face turned green at that point, because that staff was the true treasure of the treasury, the top-tier Earth Raid weapon. But at this moment, he had no choice but to part with it reluctantly. A few days later, the bus heading to Linjing City set off. Along the way, the Lanian task force provided an escort. Some flashy people didn't want to crowd with everyone else, so they drove their private cars and followed behind. After all, it would be a bit safer that way. Unexpectedly, just as the bus was about to depart, Su King walked straight on board. Everyone's eyes were glued to her. They never expected the esteemed Princess Su to crowd onto the bus with them. But Su King didn't look at anyone. She walked straight over to your row where you and Wang Kaichuan were sitting, and then sat down by the window. Your spot instantly became the focus of the entire bus. Wang Kaichuan was a bit curious about Su King at this point. Why didn't you take a private car? You asked jokingly. Is it because you wanted to sit with me? Did you give up the more comfortable private car just for that? But your smile froze as you spoke, because Su King was staring straight at you, and slowly leaning in closer. She didn't stop until their faces were less than 20 centimeters apart. She stopped, just as you were feeling a bit overwhelmed by the close distance. Su King suddenly leaned into your ear. You could even feel her nose brush against your ear. Then an extremely faint voice sounded. I heard you killed a presale beast tamer of the ancient beast society's 4th Street. Your heart tightened at those words. The principal and those few teachers had warned you repeatedly about this matter. Don't ever talk about this outside. You immediately turned your head slightly to look at Su King. Unexpectedly, because the distance was too close, your lips seemed to lightly brush against something. A faint blush immediately appeared on Su King's pretty face. At the same time, she nervously pulled back her head, shooting you a murderous glare. You didn't bother to apologize. You quickly changed the subject. Su King, you're joking again. How could I possibly kill a 4th-tier beast tamer? You know how strong an elite-level beast is. Which student here could ever defeat such a powerful enemy? Su King's eyes flickered slightly. She shot you a glare, as if to say, do you think I believe that? The students in the back row were in an uproar. What were those two doing just now? From behind, they only saw Su King lean in close to you, and then you lean back in close to her. When did those two get together? A poor guy like you actually climbed the social ladder. That's the daughter of the Linjin prefecture governor. How many people are desperate to climb that high, but they couldn't even get a foot in the door? It looks like he passed the big exam, just because he latched onto Su King. I'm so jealous. When the bus stopped at a rest point midway, an unexpected incident occurred. While the Lanian task force was also resting and eating, you spotted the female team member you had scolded earlier. She was animatedly telling the other team members something. Just as you curiously worked over, you discovered she was reenacting the scene where you had scolded her. Back then, you guys weren't around. That student had such a resentful look on his face, like I had dumped him or something. At the same time, she put on a stern face and demanded, what use would I be joining you? You couldn't even protect Jiang Chen. He kept a stern face, yet mimicked your voice at the same time. Immediately, a male team member asked coldly, which student is so arrogant? If I see him, I'll teach him a lesson. Make him know what the Dragon Rock Task Force is. Seeing this, your heart began to pound. You turned to leave at once. Unexpectedly, that female team member turned and spotted you. A flash crossed her eyes. She rushed over and grabbed your clothes. She yanked you over. You, the top student with 500 points of strength, were like a chick in her hands. Then she pointed at you and shouted, it was him back then. He's the one who asked what use we are. Can't even protect a Jiang city. Your head felt like it was about to explode. You had no choice but to brace yourself and greet them. Unexpectedly, a burly man walked straight over. His towering body was like a small mountain. Kid, so it's you. You said our Dragon Rock Task Force is useless. Called us trash, good for nothing. Wasting national resources, just for show. Hearing this, you were full of question marks. You immediately looked at the female team member. She gave you a sly smile. Unexpectedly, this girl had added fuel to the fire. Your scalp went numb. What to do now? You, a poor student who hadn't even entered our higher academy yet, had received an invitation from the strongest special task force. But before you could be happy for 2 seconds, your rival mocked you, calling you a toad who'd never seen the world. He even taunted you with a transcendent 3-star spirit beast. But you just snapped your fingers. 3 seconds later, he knelt before you on the spot. After the Dragon Rock Task Force female member grabbed you, everyone thought you'd stick to your stance. But you directly started apologizing to them. I didn't know the extent of Jiang City's disaster back then. That's why I said those words. It's my fault for misunderstanding you. Your frankness stunned the task force members. The female member, Ling Yu, felt a pang of guilt inside. We're hurting too. Though we did our best, the casualties far exceeded expectations. We'll definitely work harder to improve and protect Jiang City. As she spoke, tears slid down her cheek. The Dragon Rock Task Force also sank into painful memories. Just then, a middle-aged man walked over. Lin Yu told me you held down a hospital, saved many survivors. If you get the chance, you can try joining our Dragon Rock Task Force. The other escort teams showed shocked expressions. Lin Yu smiled and handed you an invitation. You won't refuse this time, will you? You scratched your head, a bit embarrassed. If I get the chance, I'll definitely join. Then Lin Yu watched you leave, a sly smile on her face. You swaggered back to the table with the invitation. Everyone's look at you had changed. After all, not many people land a job before even graduating. But Su King poured cold water on you. They send out olive branches to students from every academy every year, but only 1% actually join, because the entry slots are limited, and the competitors are elites from every academy. Your brain nearly short-circuited, so it was just getting a test qualification. No wonder Lin Yu smiled so wickedly. Suddenly, a voice broke the harmonious atmosphere. Some people just have no vision. Even if they scrape through the big exam, they're still frogs at the bottom of a well. Bai Lily and Liu Yanri walked over side by side, treating a common test qualification as a formal admission. A frog in a well is still a frog in a well. Bai Lily continued her taunts. A flicker of anger rose in your eyes. This instantly reminded you of what happened at the shelter. She quickly hid behind Liu Yanri. Young Master Liu, protect me. He wants to hit me again. Liu Yanri was just looking for a chance to show off. He instantly summoned a fox covered in flames. The onlookers were somewhat surprised. Wang Kaichuan and the others were also in disbelief. Swallowtail Fox, this kid actually evolved his beast to transcendent 3-star. No wonder he suddenly dared to provoke Brother Long. The Lanian task force quietly watched the drama on the sidelines. Looks like our intel was right. Liu Yanrui's strength is at least upper tier. He's a promising talent worth noting, the middle-aged captain said with some relief, but Lin Yu beside him disagreed. I see it differently. I think Lan Tinsheng deserves our attention more. Suddenly, a young man chimed in. Sis Lin, how about we make a bet? Let's see who's stronger, Lan Tinsheng or Liu Yanrui. If you win, you'll be my girlfriend. If you win, I'll give you my collection's profound grade superior spear. What do you say? Lin Yu's fiery temper couldn't take it. Fine, bet accepted. Hearing this, the young man perked up. After all, Lin Yu had countless suitors. Winning her as a girlfriend would be a sweet deal. Seeing this, the young man immediately shouted to Liu Yanrui, if you beat Lan Tinsheng, I'll give you a bottle of transcendent 3-star evolution potion. Liu Yanrui was stunned for a moment. This put him on the spot, but it played right into his plans. I won't let you down. I'll teach Lan Tinsheng a lesson. Lin Yu exploded on the spot. Wangxian, you're cheating. Lin Yu couldn't hold back either and shouted at you, Tinsheng, if you beat him, I'll give you a bottle of transcendent 3-star purification liquid too. As soon as those words left her mouth, the whole crowd knew a transcendent 3-star purification potion was worth $1 million. The Lanian task force sure didn't hold back, but you weren't happy about it. Purification liquid isn't worth my effort. I want 2 mind nourishment tills. Lin Yu's face darkened at that. 1 mind nourishment till was worth a bottle of purification liquid, and you asked for 2. But for the sake of the spear, she agreed without hesitation. Chu King glanced at Lin Yu in surprise. This girl was willing to pay such a price for Tinsheng. And the field, Liu Yanrui sneered. You won't be so lucky this time. You smiled, and snapped your fingers. The beast's face suddenly appeared. Both the barbarian turtle and the iron scorpion emerged. Everyone immediately realized. No wonder Lan Tinsheng was so confident. He had 2 transcendent 2-star beasts. That strength was indeed top tier. The Lanian task force members all tensed up, but Wang Xikeng still wasn't impressed. You really think 2 low-tier beasts can beat a swallowtail fox? Lin Yu, what do you think? Lin Yu said nothing, because right now, he was starting to regret it. The mind nourishment pill didn't matter, but Lan Tinsheng's odds of winning were just too low. If he lost, he'd become that playboy's girlfriend. That would be worse than death. And the other side, Liu Yanrui struck first. He commanded the swallowtail fox to charge. Burn them to death. The fox's tail swept fiercely, sending a massive wave of flames blasting out. Everyone expected the two beasts to flee in panic, but you shouted directly at the barbarian turtle, "Tease him." In an instant, the turtle shot forward. Lava-like liquid began flowing over its shell. A far-high temperature suddenly rose. At the same time, the scorpion's tail lashed out. The fox was startled. It twisted its body to dodge the tail. The next second, a massive shadow loomed over the fox's head. The barbarian turtle spun at high speed and crashed down. Its immense force tinned the swallowtail fox completely. The lava-like heat scorched its flesh, tearing it open. Liu Yanrui's face turned ashen. How can a transcendent 3-star be suppressed like this? Then something horrifying happened. The scorpion's tail stabbed straight into the fox's head. Blazing magma poured in instantly. The fox let out 2 screams and went still. The entire scene fell silent. The swallowtail fox was dead, just like that. A transcendent 3-star killed by a 2-star beast. You know, that wasn't some cheap street stall. It was actually above average for the whole block. What was most surprising was the reaction of the Lannian task force members. Feng Sikan held his head in disbelief. Lin Yu, on the other hand, was overjoyed. She rushed up and gave you a big hug. The female warrior's figure was truly something else. Suddenly, you felt a chill down your back. You turned to see Su King staring at you coldly. Minju also noticed Su King's gaze. The two women locked eyes directly. You quickly tried to divert their attention. "Don't forget the spiritual nourishment pill you promised me." Lin Yu shot you an annoyed glare. She hugged you, and you're still thinking about that pill. You immediately stepped back from her. "I didn't ask for a hug. You were thinking it. Don't try to use this as payment." Lin Yu pouted, a little irritated. Then she slapped 2 pills right into your hand. Good grief. Carrying something worth millions on you like it's nothing. This Lin Yu couldn't just be an ordinary team member. At this moment, a young man from the Lannian task force sneered. "Clever little bastard. You'll have your stupid moments too. Kitching yourself to a little rich girl like Lin Yu, you could eat pills like candy and never worry." Catching the insinuation, you snorted coldly. "Rich? How rich can she be compared to my Su King?" Everyone immediately turned to stare at you. Could it be, he's already latched onto Su King, the super rich heiress? No wonder he looks down on Lin Yu. This was huge news. Many of the male students now wish they could tear you apart on the spot. But you just turned and walked away without explaining. Su King frowned slightly nearby. "Keep running your mouth like that, and you'll be the one paying for it." After the convoy set off again, they drove continuously for 7 days and 7 nights. You finally arrived at Linjing City. The students began reporting in groups of 3 or 5. Behind you stood Fang En and Zhao Zhiging. They were behind Liu Yanrui. The whole group stared at you with hostile eyes. Liu Yanrui's eyes were bloodshot. This time, I'll make Kim pay. In Linjing City, without connections or resources, crushing someone is as easy as stepping on an ant. After much trouble, you finally arrived at the Advanced Beast Taming Academy. The school gate loomed like a giant beast crouching. Under the sunlight, it shimmered with an ancient and majestic horror. The words Lan Yuan Jiang Beast Taming Academy radiated a dense spiritual charm. Walking inside, a massive beast tamer statue stood in the center of the square. The statue stood tall and upright, its gaze deep and profound, surrounded by phantom images of various divine beasts. Just as you were wondering who the statue depicted, a voice came from nearby. "This is a legendary principal of the Beast Taming Academy, a Heavenshine-level beast tamer. He fell in battle deep within Lan Yuan, so this statue was built in his memory." A red-haired senior assistant approached with a bright smile. "Hello, I'm Tuyaki, a second-year Wind Element student. I'm your senior. Welcome to Lan Yuan Jiang Advanced Beast Taming Academy."